The Commission for Independent Education has changed the way schools will participate remotely in meetings. Moving forward, CIE will be using Zoom Webinar, and there are a few differences to be aware of. The first process to be aware of is registration. When you click on the invitation link on CIE's home page, you will be taken to a registration page. This page has 5 questions that must be filled in: first name, last name, email, confirmation of your email, and organization name. After you register, you will receive an email that includes the Zoom link to access the webinar. Please do not share this link, as it will only work with one device per registrant. If you have multiple people calling in, they should all register individually. On the day of the meeting, we advise you to have only one device in the room. Multiple devices in the same room can lead to audio problems that make it difficult for the commissioners to hear you and for you to hear them. If you have multiple people from your team on the call, they should all be in separate locations. When the meeting starts, all of the schools will be listed as attendees. Attendees cannot display their video camera and cannot turn on their microphone unless asked to do so by a moderator. But attendees can ask questions using the Q&A feature. Please note, questions are displayed publicly, so do not put any sensitive or private information in the Q&A. During the meeting, when your school is recognized, you will need to raise your digital hand, which will help moderators find you in the list of attendees logged into the meeting. When this happens, you will be asked to unmute your microphone. Once you unmute yourself, you will be able to speak. If you call in using a phone instead of a computer, you can raise your digital hand by pressing *9 and unmute yourself by pressing *6. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. The Commission for Independent Education has changed the way schools will participate remotely in meetings. Moving forward, CIE will be using Zoom Webinar, and there are a few differences to be aware of. The first process to be aware of is registration. When you click on the invitation link on CIE's home page, you will be taken to a registration page. This page has 5 questions that must be filled in: first name, last name, email, confirmation of your email, and organization name. After you register, you will receive an email that includes the Zoom link to access the webinar. Please do not share this link, as it will only work with one device per registrant. If you have multiple people calling in, they should all register individually. On the day of the meeting, we advise you to have only one device in the room. Multiple devices in the same room can lead to audio problems that make it difficult for the commissioners to hear you and for you to hear them. If you have multiple people from your team on the call, they should all be in separate locations. When the meeting starts, all of the schools will be listed as attendees. Attendees cannot display their video camera and cannot turn on their microphone unless asked to do so by a moderator. But attendees can ask questions using the Q&A feature. Please note, questions are displayed publicly, so do not put any sensitive or private information in the Q&A. During the meeting, when your school is recognized, you will need to raise your digital hand, which will help moderators find you in the list of attendees logged into the meeting. When this happens, you will be asked to unmute your microphone. Once you unmute yourself, you will be able to speak. If you call in using a phone instead of a computer, you can raise your digital hand by pressing *9 and unmute yourself by pressing *6. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. The Commission for Independent Education has changed the way schools will participate remotely in meetings. Moving forward, CIE will be using Zoom Webinar, and there are a few differences to be aware of. The first process to be aware of is registration. When you click on the invitation link on CIE's homepage, you will be taken to a registration page. This page has 5 questions that must be filled in. First name, last name, email, confirmation of your email, and organization name. After you register, you will receive an email that includes the Zoom link to access the webinar. Please do not share this link, as it will only work with one device per registrant. If you have multiple people calling in, they should all register individually. On the day of the meeting, we advise you to have only one device in the room. Multiple devices in the same room can lead to audio problems that make it difficult for the commissioners to hear you and for you to hear them. If you have multiple people from your team on the call, they should all be in separate locations. When the meeting starts, all of the schools will be listed as attendees. Attendees cannot display their video camera and cannot turn on their microphone unless asked to do so by a moderator. But attendees can ask questions using the Q&A feature. Please note, questions are displayed publicly, so do not put any sensitive or private information in the Q&A. During the meeting, when your school is recognized, you will need to raise your digital hand, which will help moderators find you in the list of attendees logged into the meeting. When this happens, you will be asked to unmute your microphone. Once you unmute yourself, you will be able to speak. If you call in using a phone instead of a computer, you can raise your digital hand by pressing *9 and unmute yourself by pressing *6. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at the next meeting.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order and turn it over to Vice Chair Commissioner Trey Williams.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is Commission for Independent Education. I'm Trey Williams, Vice Chair of the Commission. We're meeting virtually via Zoom today. Is March 19th, 2024. Ms. Hood, could we please have a roll call?
Commissioner Williams.
Present.
Commissioner Whitaker. Commissioner Cross.
Present.
Commissioner Taylor Ellis.
Present.
Commissioner Marty. And Commissioner Stefano.
All right, it is now time for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Commissioner Taylor Ellis.
If we could, Chair Williams, I would like to record that Commissioner Whitaker appears to be present as well.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you for joining us this morning. This meeting has 2 viewing options. They are as follows. You can use option 1 if you only wish to view the meeting. Navigate to the Commission's agenda information webpage and click on the webcast link available for the desired day. Today's agenda addresses degree granting institutions. These links will direct you to a live feed of the meeting that will be used for viewing purposes only. This option does not allow anyone to communicate with the Commission or staff. Please use option 2 if you will need to communicate with the Commission during today's meeting, including institutions on the agenda. Navigate to the webcast links referenced a moment ago and locate the Zoom webinar registration link under the video link. There's a separate registration link for each day. Today's the 19th. Be a separate link for tomorrow, the 20th. You must register separately for each day. This link will send a confirmation email that contains additional instructions on how to proceed when viewing the meeting. When registering, please note the following. A separate registration is required for each user, as shared logins are not permitted. When registering, please enter your school name as it appears on the agenda in the designated organization box. This will assist with identifying schools during the meeting. The confirmation email contains instructions for dialing into the webinar for users desiring to call in. If your school is called, please raise your digital hand and unmute yourself. During the meeting, please ensure your device remains muted unless you are speaking to the commission. It is recommended that only one device be in the room at the same time. If multiple devices are nearby, please sure to silence the volume and make sure they're muted. For users who use the dial-in feature, you can press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute your phone. For technical assistance using Zoom, please see the Zoom technical support website link identified on the CIE website. For questions and concerns about this, you can also email cieinfo@fldoe.org. Again, thanks for being here today. Normally, we would have an introduction of visitors, but due to this meeting's virtual format, we'll forego the introductions of visitors. We ask that any individual speaking to the commission on behalf of an institution to please state your full name in relation with the school. Next on the agenda is number 4, approval of minutes. We'll consider minutes from the meeting held January 5th and 26th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Cross and Taylor Ellis. We have a motion and a second to approve those minutes. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye. Aye.
That motion carries. The motion to approve those January minutes is adopted. Number 5 is reports. Director Hurst, will you please provide the executive director's report?
Yes, thank you. So the Student Protection Fund has a balance of $7,203,922.71, and the Commission issued 1 citation due to insufficient funds.
All right. Counselor, will you please provide our legal counsel report?
I do not have such a report at this time.
Then we move on to number 6, degree institutional licensure issues. Those are item A, institutions ordered to appear back before the commission. There are 9 of these. We are going to take them individually. Number 1 is Fortis College, Cutler Bay, number 4423. Staff recommendations have been provided. If you're here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Good morning. I am Nikki Good. I am the Regional Vice President for Fortis College and here for Cutler Bay.
Good morning, Ms. Good. Thank you for being here.
Of course. We also have our CFO on the line, Steve Budish, is available as well.
Hello, everybody.
And I am Jason Mika is also on the line. I'm the Vice President of Financial Planning and Analysis for the parent company of Fortis.
Well, thank you all for being here. Always nice to be first. Commissioners, is there any discussion?
I do, Mr. Chair. I have a question for Nikki. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Krause.
I had a question about your training on your NCLEX scores in Cutler Bay. Downward trend since Q2. So what are your thoughts there? I know you guys implemented a improvement plan. How is that going, and what's the reason for the downtrend over the last 2 quarters?
Absolutely. When we met in November, we discussed that we had some success implementing a outside corporate managed coach for the campuses. In this particular campus, we saw a nice improvement with one specific coach. So in November, just prior to the meeting, we had changed to using that coach exclusively. As we track this Q1, our December grads, where we made that change with this one particular coach. So far in Q1 of this year, based upon our track, we've had 8 of our December grads test and 7 of the 8 pass. One of those was in the state of New York, but we're pleased with an 88% of those that have tested that have passed. So we've got another 15 left to test. They are engaged with the coaches. Most of those have dates later at the end of March and the beginning of April. So we're pleased with that improvement with the coach. And I think it's yielded some results. It's something similar that we've done in some of the other schools that's been very productive. So a lot of what we saw in those last quarters really came from some older students testing a number of issues with those individuals. But those that are working with our coaches for this particular campus, we've seen a significant increase versus those that are not working with our coaches. So our biggest goal here at the campus is to ensure that all of our graduates know that this is a free service to them. It's yielded great results. And then ensuring that those that come out, we have students that are getting ready to graduate here at the beginning of April, that they've already met with the coach. She's actually been in their classroom meeting with them, discussing strategies and working out schedules for their post-grad engagement.
Well, great. Sounds like a great start to the year. So I look forward to seeing more of that. That's good. Good to hear. Vicki, thanks for the update.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Commissioners, is there any additional discussion? Is there any public comment on the matter? Hearing no further discussion, is there a motion to accept the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Whitaker, I believe.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Taylor Ellis. Any opposed? Then the staff recommendation is, well, all in favor? Excuse me.
Aye.
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 Staff recommendation is adopted.
Thank you all.
Thank you for being here.
I'll be here for 3 more.
Not to be outdone, item number 2 on the agenda is Fortis College of Arm Park, number 2090. Staff recommendations have been provided. And I'm assuming we have the same individuals here for discussion. Is that the case, Ms. Good?
Actually, we have in addition, the campus president from Orange Park is on as well.
Awesome.
Good morning. My name is Wyman Dickey. I'm the campus president here at Fortis College in Orange Park.
Thank you for being here, sir. Appreciate you. Commissioners, are there any discussion for Fortis College number 2090? All right. Is there any public comment on this matter? Okay, hearing no further discussion, is there a motion to accept the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Cross and Whitaker. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Then staff recommendation is adopted. We appreciate you guys being here, and don't go away because number 3 is Fortis Institute Pensacola. Number 1956, staff recommendation been provided. If you have additional folks from that particular location, guys, please let us know.
We do. We also have our president from our Pensacola campus on the line.
Hi, it's
Outstanding.
Kathleen Cole. I'm the campus president for Fortis Institute in Pensacola. Good morning.
Good morning, President Cole. How are you today?
Great. It's a little chilly up here.
Good. I was about to ask, is it a lovely spring morning in Pensacola?
It's like 39 degrees. So, yeah.
I love it. I would have my windows open. Commissioners,
pretty
is
nice.
there any discussion? Is there any public comment on the matter? Before I take a motion, I just want to say how much I appreciate you guys all being here and having a representative from each institution here. I know you're all part of one larger organization, but it is always refreshing to have folks who sound like they've had their second cup of coffee and are eager to engage in discussion with us right out of the gate. It surely helps facilitate things when there are questions. So thank you very much for being here. So hearing no further discussion, is there a motion to accept the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Cross and Taylor Ellis, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Staff recommendation is adopted. President Cole, thank you for being here with us. I know that was quick and easy. Please try to stay warm on a chilly spring morning.
Thank you. Have a great morning.
All right. Number 4 is Fortis Institute Port St. Lucie, number 3024. Excuse me, 3024. Staff recommendations have been provided. Do we have someone additional from that location as well?
Of course we do. We have our president from Port St. Lucie on the line.
Yeah. I bet it is not 39 degrees in Port St. Lucie.
It is not, but it's beautiful. Hi, my name is Julia Denniston with Fortis Institute in Port St. Lucie.
Thank you very much for being here this morning. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any discussion for the Port St. Lucie Fortis Institute number 3024? Is there any public comment on this matter? Hearing no further discussion, is there a motion to accept the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
And Commissioners Whitaker and Taylor Ellis, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I only heard a couple of ayes. Let me ask that again. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? Then staff recommendation is adopted for Port St. Lucie Fortis Institute number 3024. Thank you for being here this morning. To each of you, very much appreciate your presence.
Thank you. It's our pleasure to be with you. Have a good day.
Thank you,
Thank you
Commissioners.
as well.
If I could, I just want to publicly recognize our program specialist, Miss Barbara Davis. She's outstanding to work with, and I'm very thankful for her.
Thank you very much for that. We appreciate it and appreciate her. Our next item on the agenda, number 5, is HCI College, West Palm Beach, number 2077. Director, I'm looking at a subset A for Fort Lauderdale, but it's not as a separate line item. Can you help me understand why we have 2 on the same line item?
They can be taken together.
Okay. Then we are discussing number 2077 and number 5625, HCI College of West Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale, respectively. Staff recommendations have been provided. If you're here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute yourself, and introduce yourself.
Hello, this is Pedro de Guzman, President and Chief Executive Officer, representing both the West Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale campuses.
And this is
Good morning,
Bob Harris,
Mr.
Legal
Guzman.
Counsel for HCI.
Good morning. This is Celeste Blackwell, Chief Academic Officer for HCI College.
Well, thank you all for being here. Counselor, thank you for being here as well. Commissioners, is there any discussion?
Chair
Is there
Williams.
any public comment on the matter?
Chair Williams, I would just like
Yep.
to know for the record that Commissioner Marty has joined us.
Good morning.
I've been here from the beginning. It's just I had computer issues. Sorry.
We're glad you're here now, Commissioner Marty. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. So are there commissioners discussions for 2077 or 5625 collectively? Is there any public comment on the matter? Then hearing no further discussion, is there a motion to accept staff recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
By Commissioners Taylor, Ellis, and Whitaker, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The staff recommendation is adopted. President Guzman, thank you for being here with your staff. We really appreciate you guys showing up.
Thank you. Thank you for making it unanimous. We love that, in our favor.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Have a
the
great
rest of
day.
your week, sir. Next on the agenda, the Instituto Marangoni, Miami, number 5827. Staff recommendations have been provided. If you're here from that institution, please raise your hand, your digital hand, or your physical hand, or both. Unmute and introduce yourself.
How you doing? This is Michael Johnson. I'm the Associate Vice President of Academics at Instituto Marangoni, Miami.
Hello, this is Roger Hosen, Vice President of Operations at Instituto Marangoni, Miami.
Gentlemen, thank you both for being here. Commissioners, or is there any discussion? Guys, I know we part of the staff recommendations was some financial progress, and I concur with that recommendation. I'd just love to hear your thoughts on the matter of how that progression is going.
Yes, we're going really well. We actually did submit it. We'll submit it again as standalone. We submitted it with a couple other things. We ended our 2023, even though it's not officially audited. It'll be audited, this month. But we have our first real good operating profit. We're looking at about $600,000, and we started our 2024 year over year well ahead of where we are in 2023. So the progress report that I put together and sent out also shows that we're expecting to double that as well in 2024. So we are now clearly operating in the black with a larger population year over year for this time by 50%.
Yeah, I was going to applaud this progress. This is a clean statement, and by every metric of this income statement, you guys are doing well and raising revenues and decreasing relative expenses. So I just wanted to applaud you for that. Congratulations on your profit. I know you guys are going to turn around and invest that into student success.
Yes, sir.
But these are great reports, and it sure makes the assessment a lot easier to see really clean numbers that have obviously been thoughtfully and carefully put together.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So if you don't mind me asking one more question here, I was looking at your spring 2024. You grew your student body by 31%. As a licensee, can you tell me how you did that?
Twofold. We grew, our admissions was 20% growth, but our retention over the last couple semesters, I brought Michael Johnson, who's on this call, and we've really done some great things in the academic department, just, blocking and tackling, going back to the basics where attendance and student engagement, and we've kept them in the classroom. I mean, we literally lost 8 students from fall to spring, which will, and that's why our spring was actually a higher starting population than fall, which is a rare occurrence. So it's a combination, not just an admission. So retention has really impacted our growth. Our students are staying at over 92% every semester now.
Well, I hope you figure out a way to bottle up that retention and that growth so others could benefit from it. But good job. Congrats.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any further discussion on the matter? Any public comment? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept staff recommendations?
So moved.
Moved and seconded by Cross and I believe Commissioner Marty. Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The staff recommendation is adopted. Thank you for being here this morning, gentlemen, and congrats on your growth. I hope it continues.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Have a great day, guys.
Next item on the agenda is Palm Beach International College, number 7659. Staff recommendations have been provided. If you're here, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
There is no one on the line.
That is unfortunate. All right. Commissioners, is there any discussion? Director, I know there are contingencies here, or at least anomalies relative to accepting. All right. Any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the staff recommendation for Palm Beach International College number 7659?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioners Cross and Taylor Ellis. Any opposed?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Staff recommendation is adopted for number 7659. Just one moment, please, guys. All right, next item on the agenda, number 8, Ultimate Medical Academy Clearwater, number 1606. Staff recommendations have been provided. If you're here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Good morning, Commission. This is Sue Edwards with Ultimate Medical Academy. And I have also with us our CFO, Alexander Shafrath, our President, Tom Rometta, and a group of other folks who are willing to answer any questions you have.
Well, thank you all for being here. I appreciate you joining in. Can you guys give us some update on this financial progress report that I know when looking at it on a surface level, it seems small relative to the totality of your operations, but can you just kind of give us an update on that?
No, certainly appreciate the opportunity. Good morning, everyone. We continue to make progress on our financial strength since our discussion in late July. We've seen growth in both our working capital as well as our operating surplus year over year, and believe that our current financial position shows the strength that we have and demonstrates our capability to meet our obligations.
Well,
but I'm happy to answer any specific questions relative to our financial position.
This is another well put together progress report. I don't mind staring at spreadsheets, but it sure is nice to see graphs. And that certainly helped us understand your working capital ratio and liquidity and strength of that position. Good job on what, 3x? That's
3x.
Yeah, nicely done.
Thanks. Thank you.
Commissioners, any discussion on the matter? Any public comment? Hearing no further discussion, is there a motion to accept the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioners Taylor, Ellison, Whitaker, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Then the staff recommendation is adopted. Thank you all for being here this morning. We really appreciate you.
Thank you, and thank you, Barbara Davis.
I think you guys are probably not going very far because number 9 on our list is Ultimate Medical Academy Online of Tampa, number 4379. Can I assume that the same group is still on the line for this discussion?
Yes, you can.
Any additional joining us?
No.
All right. So you guys are also one of the groups that presents these and in a holistic fashion, and I appreciate that. Are there nuances associated with the individual performance within these licenses that aren't illuminated here that you guys might want to tell us a little about? I know that they all are part of one organization, but so because the reports that I have here shows the entire organization and not those individually, I'd love to just hear about individually the performance of this relative to the one we just spoke about.
And I think that the commentary remains similar. We look at the entities in a consolidated manner, but certainly have management expectations at each of the entities, and we're happy to say that the performance of the group reflects the performance of each of the individual entities, and happy to dive in if there's specific questions around them.
Yeah, are you guys hitting your projected numbers for 2024 for the online? Number 437.
So we exceeded our budget in 2023, and we're on track to meet our objectives for 2024 as we sit here about 2 months in.
Outstanding. Can I ask what your number one enrollment program is? I'm looking at almost 3,000 and maybe 2,000 enrollees. What is that? Is that weighted toward one program or another?
Yeah, if we look at our different programs on the online side, our largest program is an associate's in medical billing and coding, which has approximately 6,000 students, of which 358 are in the state of Florida.
And that's a lot of medical and billing and coding. So do you guys have relationships with and subsequent placement opportunities for such a volume of folks?
Yes, we do. I'm going to let Tommy Moon speak to that.
Hi, Commissioners. Yes, we have a large team of career services advisors that both create relationships with employer partners locally, but we also maintain nationwide partnerships with large organizations that can meet that volume specifically to MBCA as well as others.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Well, congrats on your progress, guys. Commissioners, any additional discussion? Any public comment on this matter? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept staff recommendations?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioners Taylor, Ellis, and Cross. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Then the motion to approve staff recommendation is adopted for Ultimate Medical Academy Online and Tampa number 4379. Thank you all for being here. Enjoyed the discussion with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving on to item B, application for provisional licensure. There are 5 of note. Number 3 on the agenda will be moved to the application for annual license section. We will take the remaining 4 institutions individually. Number 1 is Bluefield University, Port St. Lucie, number 12831. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Hello, this is Michael Sawmeyer. I am the interim president at Bluefield University.
This is John Rakovich. I'm the chairman of Harvey Peters Research Foundation, the single member of Bluefield University, and I serve on the board of Bluefield University.
Gentlemen, thank you both for being here this morning. Can you guys give us a little insight into where you are relative to your projections? How did you end 2023? Where are you for 2024?
So 2023 ended, probably saw from if you're looking at the individual school, Bluefield University, well, we ended with a negative balance income statement, but we actually fit within a larger Harvey W. Peters Foundation. Harvey W. Peters Research Foundation. Within that, if you can see the additional documents that we sent, you can see that for that, we're talking about a positive change in net assets of about $21 million, total net assets of $238,950 million. So outside of Bluefield University in the larger foundation, and that foundation is what supports the university, we have more than enough capital to fund our operations.
This is John Rakovich stepping in. The Department of Education asks us to report on a consolidated basis. We just received our regular evaluation by the Department of Education, which is a 3, which, as you know, is the highest financial ranking that the Department of Education gets. You need to be above a 1. Very hard to get a 3, but we have a 3, and we typically would have 150 million liquid on hand, readily available for any need.
Well, congratulations on that progress. The numbers we were looking at, or at least that I'm looking at here, you may have others submitted that aren't included in these materials, were trailing from 2022. I know you're presenting them consolidated, and that is appreciated because the net income from that year, while a 7-digit loss is small relative to your balance sheet, I understand that. But thanks for the more holistic viewpoint there. Commissioners, any discussion on the matter? Any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Yeah.
Moved and seconded by Taylor Ellison Cross. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to accept staff recommendation is adopted for Bluefield University, Port St. Lucie, number 12831. Gentlemen, thanks for being here. Congrats on your progress and scope and scale of your operations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, number 2, Ivara Health Institute Clearwater, number 12948. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Good morning. This is Dr. Rebecca Sarlo. I am the campus administrator for the Ivara Health Institute, and I'm here with Ben Gilbert, who is our CFO, and Shalina MacArthur, who is our Director of Education and Academic Operations, and Radu Allen, who is our Director of Operations. And we're excited to be here this morning.
The gang is all here. It is Evera. Did I mispronounce that originally, Doctor?
It's Evera, like everyone deserves a great school to go to.
That's a good way to explain it. Well, thank you all for being here this morning. We appreciate your presence here. You'll give us just a moment to look at the summary sheet.
Absolutely.
While we're waiting, can you tell us how Q1 is shaking out for you for 2024?
Sure, I'm going to have Ben respond to that. I think he has more of the specifics there.
Thank you. As an organization, Ivara Health is the parent organization for the Ivara Health Institute. We have a number of organizations that fall under our parent company. It includes a real estate holding company and a health foundation. Our current assets currently sit well over $70 million in assets. Cash on hand is roughly $10 million. We are prepared from the foundation to support the Evra Health Institute for a number of months until we can get towards the pro forma as presented today.
Thank you for that. Your consolidated financials do indeed look very strong, and it looks like you guys are on an upward trend. Commissioners, is there any discussion? Any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff's recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioners Taylor, Ellis, and Cross. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion to accept staff recommendations is adopted. Gentlemen, thanks for being here. Good luck with you as the year progresses.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we moved number 3 to section C, which means we will be moving on to number 4, if I'm correct about that, Director. Excelsior University, St. Petersburg, number 12928. If you are here for that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is David Scable. I'm president of Excelsior University. Thank you for your time and for considering our proposal. I'm joined by our provost, Chris Kassir, our chief financial officer, Rick Hanman, our executive dean for liberal arts and sciences, Scott Dolan, our executive dean for nursing and health sciences, Robin Goodrich, and our general counsel, Mike DeSiena.
All right, the gang's all here. Thank you for being here this morning. Does your proximity there on 4th Street in St. Pete mean that you're working closely with so much of the medical that's concentrated in that area as placement and partners in interacting with them directly prior to graduation? You guys are in a pretty healthcare centric location there. Am I wrong about that?
We are only beginning the process. The reason why we are interested in having a physical presence in Florida is because we have about 900 students currently studying in the state of Florida and about 17,000 alumni. And so we are looking at the St. Pete, Tampa Bay region because we have a partnership with Utica University that's already located in St. Petersburg, and we believe that there's a significant opportunity for us to support the students and the employers in the region.
Can you tell us about that partnership with Utica?
Yep. So Utica University is a New York liberal arts school located in Utica, New York. And we have a collaboration agreement with Utica, and we are working to develop joint programming in the St. Pete region. Right now, we're focusing on business and the MBA. But we also plan to offer some of our own programs, certainly in that area as well.
Well, that's a good location for you for that region, just over the bridge from South Tampa, and there are worse areas to be in than north of downtown St. Pete. Is that MBA program, did I hear you say that your enrollment is heavily weighted toward that program right now?
Well, our enrollments, so if I may, just a little background about Excelsior. So Excelsior is currently an online institution, but we know that many of our students are looking for hybrid opportunities. Yes. And because of our critical mass in Florida, we want to provide students in Florida with opportunities to engage with faculty, to get student services in person, et cetera. And we enroll about 14,000 students nationally. As I said, nearly 1,000 students in Florida. And we have about 17,000 alumni in the state. So we would like to offer the array of programs that we submitted to you. Our enrollments are spread across multiple programs ranging from liberal arts and sciences to technology to business to nursing. So really are a comprehensive institution. Initially started as a public institution in the state of New York and became private nonprofit in the late 1990s. And I can give you more details if you'd like to know more about the history of the institution.
No, that helps. The Utica collaboration with them being liberal arts and then the list of programs that you have proposed here weren't obviously aligned. So that helps to understand a little more. Commissioner, is there any discussion? I've got to say that the flyer that I'm looking at there is the electrical engineering technology. If I'm playing which one of these is not like the other game.
Right. So it is one of our engineering programs. We have other programs that we're currently not seeking to offer in Florida because we want to get these up and running, and then we may come back to you with additional programs in the future.
Makes sense. Outstanding. Commissioners, is there any discussion? Is there any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendation?
So move.
Second.
And Commissioners Marty and Taylor Ellis, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to accept staff recommendation is adopted for Excelsior University St. Pete, number 12928.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here, gentlemen. Within this section, the last item is International Lauderdale University Plantation, number 12679. Staff recommendations have been provided. If you're here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Hello, this is Minor Herrera. I'm the CEO of International Lauderdale University. Here with me is the president of the university, Minor Herrera Lemos, the CFO of the university, Cesar Augusto Custodio Cobar, and the program project manager, Luis Martinez, and also it's connected but not with us, Mark Murray, who is our general attorney. International Lauderdale University, it's a university that is primarily owned by Universidad Panamericana of Guatemala. We have 25 years operations in Guatemala, over 20,000 students enrolled, over 45,000 students that already graduate from our university in Guatemala. We started doing the online education since 2013 in Guatemala. Right now, with this 20,000 students enrolled, I will say that we have nearly 2,000 students that are already enrolled in online primarily. Pardon? I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat that, please?
I don't know what the noise was. Apologies. I think someone may have been off mute.
Okay. So right now, International Lauderdale University, it's going to be an online only university. It's going to be delivered all their classes in Spanish. However, we do have a basic English class because although we want to focus on the Hispanic communities here in Florida, we want to recognize and we want to enhance for our students to be bilingual and to know them and to transmit to them that English is going to be their primary work language. So we want to give them the competence for their work and for their classes in their primary language. However, we want to give them the focus that they need to learn some other language and learn how to work with this other language, right? So this is the International Lauderdale project. Our target is mainly Hispanics living in Florida or being in Florida. We want to help the communities. The reason we are going, we want to open here in Florida is that we have many students from already enrolled in Guatemala. we have here in Florida and in our online university. Well, we want to help them living here and give them like real chances to get a better life, better job, and accomplish their dreams.
Thank you for that summary. So the student data that we see trailing for 2023 is showing unavailable. So can you tell me where you are with enrollments here and abroad? Because the report that I have doesn't have that data.
I'm so sorry, it break a little bit the communication. Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, the data that I've provided here is trailing from last year, 2023, and it doesn't give us enrollment data. Can you tell us where you are with that right now?
Okay, right now in the enrollment in the University Panamericana, we have 20,000 students, like 20,400 students right now. This is the enrollment for 2024.
20,000?
And 2023 was, pardon?
Did you say 20,000?
Yeah, 20,000.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a lot of students all over the country and all over Latin America, actually. 25 years of experience working in the university sector, and we also own schools since 50 years ago. So this is like a huge dream for us. This is like a huge thing that we're doing. We have schools also in some other parts of Latin America as well.
What percentage of those are out of Florida?
Florida right now, we have less than 1% of the students are currently living in Florida. But we saw the chances that we will probably get more students here in Florida, and we will help them with their lives having an actual U.S. University title.
Commissioners, any discussion? Any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept staff recommendations with the additional contingencies, or as stated, rather?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioners Cross and Taylor Ellis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Gentlemen, thank you for being here this morning. Good luck to you here in Florida.
Thank you, and thanks for the approval. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda, Section C, is application for annual license. There are 10. Let me look at my notes here, please. We will be taking these individually. Number one, let's see. Please note that number 3 from the previous section was moved into this section. So we will take these individually. That will make 11 total. Director, did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
All right, yay for me. The first item within the section is American Business College, Miami, number 10191. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself. If there is no one here, Commissioner, is there discussion?
We just had a little microphone not turn on. Can you hear me okay?
We hear you now. Yes, sir.
Excellent. I'm Dr. Jose Otero, Otero Consulting Group. I'm here with the co-founder of American Business College, Mr. Jose Villalobos.
Thanks for being here, Dr. Otero. How are you this morning?
Not bad.
Right. Commissioners, any discussion? Any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the staff recommendations?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioners Whitaker and Taylor Ellis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion to accept staff recommendation is adopted. Thank you for being here, Dr. Terra.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
So number 2 is American, American Global Tech University, Orlando, number 12506. If you're here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
They are online. They are online. We're just waiting for them to unmute.
No rush.
I believe they're unmuted at this time. They have dropped off the line.
All right, I guess they didn't want to talk to us. Commissioners, I know there is we're requesting a financial improvement plan because of negative net income.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning, Commissioner. I apologize for the difficulties here with my mic. This is Carlos Oliveira with American Global Tech. I am the CTO. And on the line, we also have Dr. Guimarães and our president, Mr. Borges. They seem to be having difficulties with the mic, so I'll be answering questions as they figure that out.
No problem. Thank you for being here this morning, gentlemen. I was just saying that we are requesting financial improvement plan due to the negative net income that was trailing from 2022. Can you tell me about 2023 and how that shook out for you, please?
No problem, Commissioner. We started enrolling students in Florida and Brazil in November, so we only had 2 months revenue. But so far we have enrolled 77 students, and the forecast looks very positive for 24.
And we have the trailing data that we have also doesn't include student enrollments. Can you tell us about that? We still show 0 on our summaries.
Yeah, Commissioner, we don't know what happened. We had those numbers submitted. We'll be happy to do it again. But as I said, we had 77 enrolled by the end of December last year. And this quarter is looking positive, and we'll be going to be starting offering our new programs in IT in April 1st, which is not a lie, by the way. It's literally April 1st.
And Commissioner Williams, on page 5 of the summary sheet is the statement that they prepared to us about their first class of students beginning on November 6th. And at that time, there were currently 48 students enrolled in the institution.
Last page. Thank you. I do see that now. Do you guys have a projection on what the working capital you have is relative to your days cash on hand? I know there's a cost associated with training those 48 students you currently have, and we don't have the data from 2023 to know what your liquidity looks like. So can you give me some indication of the stability of your ability to meet the demands of matriculating those 48 students?
Sure, Commissioner. Again, we are having issues here with the the mics for the rest of the team, and I have no idea what that is. But as I'm talking to you here, they're texting me and sending me the financial projections. And I do apologize for that. I'm, as the technology guy, I don't know much about numbers, but I'll do my best. So
I was going to say that there's something ironic about the technology school struggling with the microphone, but that joke maybe seemed too obvious.
Yeah, that's pretty ironic. You're right. You know, we have hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment and a team to take care of it, and it doesn't work. So cash in hand now we have $121,019.05, and that was for your question on our current balance. What was your other question, Commissioner?
I'm just trying to get a feel for how that amount represents on your days cash on hand, because you obviously have a cost associated with training the students that you have currently enrolled. Is that 3 months worth of cash? Are you able to bridge the gap to your next semester, et cetera?
Yes, I got your question now. So since most of the people, the CTOs or all the CTOs are partners, and we now finally have Dr. G online, and he'll be able to answer your question more appropriately, because I think they figured out the problem of the mic.
Yeah,
Sure.
we had a problem with one of the computers in here, and we may not have followed the rules of not having two computers at the same time. That may be it. Basically, let me answer the financial projections that we have. Our projections are to have 450 students and to break even in October of 2024. We have enough funds to make that happen, and on reserve as well. And our financial projections for December of 2024 will be 611 students. And again, I apologize. I am the Chief Operating Officer, David Felsen, and I was talking, and I heard several times that you were waiting for it to unmute. However, it showed on my computer that it unmuted, but it did not unmute. My apologies.
No problem. I'm just trying to get a feel for, I understand you have current liquidity. I understand you have projections for the year. I'm trying to figure out how long your current liquidity will support your cash burn relative to the cost of matriculating the 48 students you have enrolled.
It will support it well beyond the end of the year. And we are in a very
calendar year?
Of the calendar year, yes. We are also in a very good, we're in a very good position, because we had in the fourth quarter of 2023, we began enrolling, I think it was 77 students, not 48. And we did not have students before that. And we made investments into the marketing and the building of the organization. This year in 2024, we're launching other programs. We have a marketing plan for students in different parts of the world. And it looks like the demand is very strong right now. So we anticipate that based on the cash that we have on hand, as well as the tuition that we're going to bring in, that we're in a very comfortable position.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Commissioners, any discussion? Any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioners Whitaker and Taylor Ellis, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion to accept staff recommendation is adopted. Gentlemen, thanks for being here. We appreciate the information.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Next item on the agenda is American Imperial University Orlando, number 12500. Staff recommendations have been provided. If you are here from the institution, please raise your hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Hello, Commissioners. Chris Giorgetti, Ferguson, Santoro, and Giorgetti Educational Consultants here with the institution today.
Thanks for being here, Mr. Giorgetti. How are you this morning?
Good, Commissioner Williams. How about you?
Never better.
That's the way to be.
Morning, Commissioners. This is Vineet Ragani, this side, the Director at American Imperial University.
This is Michael Santoro, President of the American Imperial University.
And not your CIE, Michael Santoro.
Gentlemen, the data we have showing 18 students in Florida for fiscal 2023. Is that still accurate? Tell me where things are currently. Can you kind of give me an update for year to date? I know our information is trailing.
Yes. So as per our last intake, yeah, that's been 18 students. Our next intake is the end of this month, where we're going to have more students enrolled on it.
Vineet, do you have a forecast for the commissioners, just as to how many?
Yes. Yeah, this next couple of intakes, we expect around 50 to 60 students in terms of new enrollments. We already have a lot of them at the advanced stage of counseling, and we expect around 50 to 60 in the next couple of intakes.
So it's going to be a strange question, but with the three programs you guys have offered here, it makes me wonder, is there a particular segment of the market or industry that you anticipate your graduates entering? Those programs are broad, and I realize that probably is a good place to start, but I'm wondering if there was a niche that you're hoping to achieve.
So our thought process when we were shortlisting the programs was basis what we thought would be in demand in the first place. Obviously, we want to expand our horizon going forward, but for the niche that we were looking to target currently is more on the business side of it or the leadership side of it, with an additional analytics or IT part of it, where we have one master's also taken up.
Commissioners, any discussion? Any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept staff recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioners Cross and Taylor Ellis. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion to accept staff recommendation is adopted. Gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Commissioners. And our thanks to Mr. DeSalvo as well.
Thank you, Mr. Giorgetti.
Thank you.
Number 4 within this section is Vallejo College, Miami, number 5715. Staff recommendations have been provided. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Morning, Commissioners and staff. I'm Dr. Jose Otero of Otero Consulting Group. I'm here also
All right,
with,
Dr. Otero.
Oh, my apologies. I'm also here with the COO.
Yes, Vladimir Velasquez, good morning to all of you.
Can you guys give us an update of how you ended last year, where you are for this year? Particularly interested in your 100% placement rate.
Do you have data on that?
It's still the same.
It's still the same? Yeah. Oh, you can confirm.
Yes, the 100% placement rate is still the same now.
I just rarely see 100%. I'm wondering the details around how you guys are achieving that with a head count of 200 in Florida.
What initiatives do you have to make that?
The college was doing is working together with all the graduates, and we have a number of students that they got a placement right after they got their degrees. That's what they're looking for to move on, and we work together with them.
Commissioners, any discussion on the matter? Any public comment? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept staff recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Do I have a second? Commissioners Cross and Whitaker, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Estoy en la comisión, no puedo. Sí.
You're not on mute, Commissioner Martin.
puedo hablar, pero hablo.
Talking. Motion carries for Cesar Vallejo College, Miami, number 5715.
Yeah.
Commissioner Marty, you are not muted. We can hear you talking.
No, te lo agradezco mucho, pero esto no se termina como hasta
Commissioner
las
Marty, we can hear you talking. Could you please mute yourself if you have to take a call? Thank you. Number 5 is Florida Global University Doral number 3180. If you are here from that institution, please raise your hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Good morning, Commissioner. My name is Roberto Perez Alonso. I'm the registrar for the university. And with me, we have our consultant, Dr. Jose Otero.
All right. Thank you for being here this morning, gentlemen. Can you tell us how the first year closed out for you? Give us some update on how you closed 2023 and where you are for 2024.
I'm going to ask Dr. Otero to respond.
Sure.
Actually, we're here just on standby, sir, and this would be your time to explain how the year went and several other things along those lines. Now, you are not a brand new university. You're just being returned back to annual, so you might want to talk a little bit about that.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, pardon my assumption that you're not new, that you're moving back from provisional to annual. I understand now. Because of substantive change. I see that.
I'll ask the same question in a different way. Good morning. I see 2023, your placement rate was at 96%, a significant improvement over the year prior. Can you walk us through what you did differently from that placement rate significantly improving? And then second question is 23 to 24. Where are you pacing right now with your placements?
Yes, well, we incorporated as a requirement a strict communication with our graduates and students to comply with the statistics needed to follow up on knowing where the students are placed and how they're being incorporated into the job market. So we now have much more data than we did in the past, and that is relevant to the indicator that substantially you can see the difference.
And how are you pacing so far this year?
I'm sorry, Commissioner, in terms of enrollment?
In terms of placement, do you track your placement on a monthly basis with verification of employment? And how are you pacing this year, 23 to 24? Recently, since the other was 22 to 23, how have you paced over the past several months with your placements?
Yes, ma'am. Like I said, we have incorporated that into our internal requirements to follow up with the students, and we do so quarterly.
So your last quarter placement percentage, where was that pacing?
It is just like we reported. I don't have the exact number at this time, but it is very close to what is on the fact sheet you have with you, the summary sheet.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any additional discussion? Any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioners Taylor, Ellis, and Cross. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to accept staff recommendation is adopted. Congratulations to you, sir. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
Number 6 on our list is Humboldt International University, Miami, number 5,000. Staff recommendations have been provided. If you hear from that institution, please raise your hand, unmute, and offer your greetings and salutations.
Well, Commissioners, like you said, greetings and salutations. But before I begin, I just want you to understand something. Down here in Miami, we believe in everybody gets a fair shake. So,
I'm back in the saddle again, out where a friend is a friend.
okay, Commissioners, I'm ready for your questions.
You're always so positive and upbeat, sir. I appreciate it. You'll give us a moment to review the summary sheet. Commissioners, any discussion on the matter? All right, hearing none, is there any public comment? If there's no further discussion, is there a motion to accept the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioners Whitaker and Cross, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Then the motion to accept staff recommendation carries. Congratulations, sir.
Sir, you have a good day. Thank you again.
You as well. Next item on the agenda is MIU City University, Miami, number 5359. Staff recommendation has been provided. If you are here from the institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Good morning, can you hear me? This is Rafael Garcia, Executive Director at MIU City University, Miami.
Thank you for being here,
Good
sir.
morning, this is Linda Tosas.
Commissioners, any discussion?
Good morning. Did I read this correctly that you are moving from provisional to annual due to accreditation? Is that correct? A change in accreditors?
Yes, ma'am. That's
Okay.
correct.
Thank you. All good? Everything completed? And you're now with who? DEAC, is that correct?
Yeah. So
Now we are with DAC, that's correct.
Okay. No further comments. Thank you.
Commissioners, any additional discussion? Any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept staff recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioners Taylor, Ellis, and Cross. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to accept staff recommendation is adopted. Thank you for being here. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda is number 8, Orlando Medical Institute, Orlando number 3264. Staff recommendations have been provided. If you are here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
There is no one on the line.
All right. Commissioners, any discussion?
Yeah, only question I have is it looks like they went back to provisional and coming back to an annual. What was the reason for this substantive change?
One moment, please.
Thanks.
Director, I know we have another item on the agenda with similar programs down in section K. Were these individuals not affected by the same licensure challenge that had nothing to do with this provisional status?
This one appears to be due to an accreditation change. We're pulling up their clerked order. It appears this was a loss in accreditation with the ABHES.
Commissioner Taylor Ellis, any further thoughts on that loss and subsequent?
No.
Change? Any further discussion? Any public comment on the matter? Hearing no further discussion, is there a motion to accept the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Commissioners Whitaker and Taylor Ellis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to accept staff recommendation is adopted. Next item on the agenda, number 9, University of Fairfax, Orlando, number 10196. Staff recommendation has been provided. If you are here from the institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Umesh Verma. I'm the President of University of Fairfax. I am joined by today Doctors Joel Musgrove, Senior Executive Vice President of Operations, and Mr. Mark Vincent Murray, our legal counsel. I'll be happy to answer if you have any questions. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Joel. Glad to be with you.
Thanks for being here this morning, gentlemen. Obviously, the data we have trails a little bit. I'll ask the same question. I'm showing a headcount enrollment at 13. Does that number still represent your current enrollment for Florida?
For Florida, it does represent the current enrollment trajectories this year. We're expecting at least 70 enrollment. We anticipate, we're excited to achieve those goals with the anticipation of relocating our facility within a 10-mile radius, which gives us additional opportunities to partner with prospective organizations that are highly anticipating or welcoming us into our new facility.
Do tell. Are you able to give us some details?
Certainly. The location's in a 10-mile radius. There's a group of DHS businesses that are in our facility and around our facility with quite large numbers. One of those including Oracle. That is a large organization there represented in Florida, particularly to our programs within cybersecurity and in addition to some of our other programs, software engineering, computer science engineering. We highly anticipate being able to work with those groups moving forward in partnership to enable us to get strong placements there and elsewhere.
Nice. Congratulations on that. I know the whole world that I'm aware of is hiring. I'm glad to hear Oracle is no different. Commissioners, any discussion? Any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept staff recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioners Taylor, Ellis, and Whitaker, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion to accept staff recommendation is adopted for University of Fairfax, Orlando, number 10196. Thank you for being here. Good luck with the move.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
All right, number 10, I believe is the last within this section. Victory College of Nursing, Fort Lauderdale, number 7563. Staff recommendations have been provided. If you're here from that institution, please raise your hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
She's on the line, but she appears to be muted.
Ma'am, you may need to unmute yourself in order for us to hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Good morning. This is Dr. Esther Keki, President, Program Director, Victory College of Nursing. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate your time this morning. Does your head count of 65 in Florida still hold true? Is that where your enrollment currently stands?
Yes.
And does that match your projection so far with 2024?
2024, we're expecting more students. This spring, we currently added another 20 students. So we're looking at probably in the fall, getting even more. We're projecting about 120 by the end of the year.
Commissioners, any discussion on the matter?
Yes, Mr. Chair, if I could ask. Good morning, Dr. Esther.
Good morning.
In 2023, you gave us a remediation plan to improve pass rates, and that you did in Q1, which was really impressive, going from 54% to 80%. But then it's declined since then, and you ended the year at 58%. So can you bring us up to date as to what is happening there? And then furthermore, what other improvements do you have in place to try to turn this around for the ASN program?
Yes. Thank you so much for that question. Yeah. So at the beginning of first quarter last year, we turned it around from 54, like you said, to 80%, and even up to third quarter, we were at 77%. But towards the end of last year, the end of last quarter, we kind of, came down just a little bit. And this year we are implementing, even NCLEX review with our fundamental of nursing. So each week, the students are answering over 100 questions each week, NCLEX type of question, which was what we did last year, but it was about 50. So we're increasing that, and we think that works a lot.
Do you have indications from results for Q1 in your own tracking thus far?
I didn't say that again.
Do you have? Are you seeing improvement in your pass rates on your own records of what's happening in Q1 so far?
Yes, we have. In January, we have 5 students tested, and 4 of them already passed. So, and we just graduated about 5 students last week from spring 1. So, and they're going to test for the second quarter. So we're already, moving up in the right direction.
Okay. Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any additional discussion? Is there a public comment on the matter? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept staff recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioners Whitaker and Cross, I believe, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to accept staff recommendation carries. That closes out Section C.
Commissioner Williams.
Yep.
Number 3 from Section B was moved over. Grace Community Institute, that is your number 11 under Section C.
You are correct. Forgive me, let me get back to there. Grace Community Institute, Boca Raton, number 9073, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right, staff recommendations have been provided. If you are here from that institution, please raise your hand, unmute and introduce yourself.
Hello, Commissioners. Chris Giorgetti, Ferguson, Santoro, and Giorgetti Educational Consultants here today with Dr. Matthews, the CEO and President of Grace.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Dr. Matthews, and I'm here. Thank you for having us.
Apologies for almost skipping over you guys in procedural matter, moved from the other section. Thank you for being here. Commissioners, any discussion? Any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept staff recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioners Cross and Taylor Ellis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion to accept staff recommendations carries for Grace Community Institute, Boca number 9073. That should close out Section C, correct, Director?
That is correct.
All right, there are no items in D, application for extension of annual license. So we will move on to E, application for annual renewal. There are 13 items. Number 11, I believe, is UTI. Commissioner Taylor Ellis, am I correct about that? And you'll need to abstain for the discussion.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Just to clarify, Commissioner Taylor Ellis will have to abstain from the vote, but she can certainly participate in any discussion on her school.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Okay. Is there a motion to take these items by consent?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Taylor Ellis and Marty. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion to take these items by consent passes. We'll now ask Commissioner whether there are any items they would like to pull. Let me get my pen out here. All right, Commissioner Cross, any items you'd like to pull?
I don't believe I do. Thank you.
Commissioner Taylor Ellis?
None, thank you.
Commissioner Marty?
No.
Commissioner Whitaker?
No, thank you.
Is Commissioner Stefano with us? I know his autopilot is.
He is not yet.
Okay. I'm just making sure. I didn't want to leave him out if he had joined us. Director, do you have any you'd like to pull?
Yes, I would like to pull number 11, Universal Technical Institute of South Florida. This would give Commissioner Sharon Taylor Ellis the opportunity to vote on the rest of the schools.
All right. Let me make sure I get this right. Then, is there any representatives from the schools number 1 through 13, leaving out number 11, here, or public comment on the matter? Okay.
It appears there is one school on the line.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Leonard Sclafani. I'm Senior Vice President and General Counsel of American University of Antigua. We are, I think, number 1 on this list. And I have some comments about the contingencies under which this the staff has recommended that we be approved.
You have the floor, sir.
I'm sorry?
I said you have the floor, sir. Go ahead.
So the report shows our accreditation from the Caribbean Authority on Accreditation in Medicine and Other Health Professions as having expired in 2022. We've sent numbers of letters to the CIE over the course of the past 2 years showing that our accreditation continues until finally they either renew or refuse renewal. And in January of this year, they renewed us for an additional 4 years. We submitted to the staff member assigned to this case and the prior staff member evidence of that in a letter from the CAM. But nevertheless, the report continues to show that our accreditation has expired. Another issue I had was we have an issue with what appears to be a new interpretation of the CIE's requirements for submission of an audited financial statement. We actually have two issues. We're on a fiscal year that starts in April. We're every year asked to submit our annual application by August. By August, our audited financial statements will not be ready. So every year, this winds up being an issue, getting the audited financial statement and concomitant documents, the Form 604, in. And we've asked to move that day, and it does not get moved. We ask that we get put on a later schedule so that we'll have that financial statement in time to meet the deadline. So one of the contingencies is that we submit timely annual application, which we keep saying is not going to happen as long as we have an August date, an August 1st date. But the other problem with the financial statement is every year since we've been applying for a probationary license, a provisional license, an annual license, which now is well over 10 years, if I'm not mistaken, we submit a consolidated annual statement, consolidated Monopole Education Americas and American University of Antigua. It's always been accepted. This year, it was not refused until after the deadline, actually until after the meeting on our application in November. We weren't told that we wouldn't be on that meeting. As a matter of fact, we received an email from the staff member that specifically told us we would be on that meeting. We said at that meeting, and that all of the papers that we had to submit were properly submitted. We sent a representative down from New York to attend the meeting, and on that day, I made a telephone call to ask a question about the meeting, and I was told that we were moved. And now, subsequently, we were told that the consolidated statement that we submitted is no longer accepted because of some new interpretation by the CIE that it had to be a standalone audit report for just AUA. Now, I would understand that if we were a very large, if Monopole Education Americas was a very large corporate entity that had many, many subdivisions, of which AUA was only one. But it isn't the case. Our structure is that MEA is the business end of AUA. It provides all of the registrarial functions, all of the bursar functions, all of the finance functions, all of the marketing functions, all of the administrative functions, all of the legal functions. As a matter of fact, I actually received my salary from Monopole Education Americas, not from AUA. I'm senior vice president of both companies, but it's really the entirety of MEA's business is the operation, ownership, and control of AUA, all except for the academic elements of the operation of the school and the physical operation of the campus in Antigua is done by MEA. So a true financial picture of AUA requires that you see the financial picture of MEA and AUA in a consolidated statement, which is why the statement is consolidated. So we've now had our auditors provide us with a standalone for AUA to accommodate this year's request, but it's costly and it doesn't seem that it accommodates anybody's interest. If the CIE is interested in knowing the financial health of AUA, you really need to understand the financial health of AUA. The entirety of MEA's revenue comes from student tuition. So AUA collects the revenue, actually MEA physically collects the revenue and pays over to AUA pays AUA for the services that AUA provides in accounting methods, but as a practical matter, it's really one institution. It's very hard to distinguish one from the other, to separate them. So we request that in future you accept the consolidated statement. Now, another issue with that consolidated statement is last year, the MEA paid out a bonus to key personnel. It was obliged to do that by an agreement that was reached with key personnel 5 years ago, now 6 years ago, because a parent of MEA had a plan for growth, wanted to keep key personnel. Nobody anticipated that that COVID would come in during that 5-year period. So AUA or MEA made an $8.3 million payout to key personnel, which resulted in a loss. Not a. We finished the year with an $11 million profit or $11 million cash flow on hand and assets far exceeding liabilities, but we had that one-time payment that resulted in the majority of the loss that was shown in the financial statement. So when we submitted the audited statement, we also submitted, we were asked to submit an explanation with a financial improvement plan. And we said, look, the financial improvement plan is we are not going to make a one-time payment any more than one time. We made some adjustments, some minor adjustments to account for that one little piece of loss that was in excess of the 8.3, I think it was, $million. But by and large, it was the one-time payment that pushed the company over the edge. Not going to make it in the future, but we keep being asked to supply a financial improvement plan. And there really is not anything more than not making that payment and just tightening up some expenses that will make any kind of a difference. So we'd ask that that contingency be removed. And lastly, there is a contingency that we submit the form, I think it's 401, for faculty that instruct our students. And again, in the past 10 years, and we had an issue when we first made our provisional application, our first application to the CIE, as to what faculty you were interested in. Do you want every single faculty that teaches at AUA and all of our affiliated hospitals, of which there are about 50, or only the ones that instruct in Florida? And we were specifically told only the ones that educate in Florida. As a matter of fact, that was subsequently refined by the then commissioner, Sam Ferguson, to only the ones that teach in hospitals that are under the jurisdiction of the CIE. So there are, AUA has a very unique program with Florida International University's Herbert Wertheim Medical College, at which some of our students do clinical rotations as visiting students of HUCAM. And we were told, no, don't provide those. So every year we submit a Form 401 that has the names of all of the faculty that teach in Florida and the affiliated hospitals that we have in Florida, not the FIU arrangement, and their licenses and what they teach. And every year that's accepted. But nevertheless, and we did the same this year. Now, having said that, these are the faculty that could teach our students because they are the faculty at our affiliated sites. Doctors who have accepted AUA adjunct faculty positions. Last year, because of confusion with what was or wasn't accepted over our accreditation, we sent no students outside of HUCAM to Florida. So there were no faculty that taught any students, any of AUA students in the state. But this now is a contingency, and we don't know why it's a contingency this year as opposed to every other year that we've submitted the same form. But nevertheless, it's still there. So we'd ask that this contingency also be removed, and that would leave us without contingency.
I appreciate the thoroughness and how prepared you were for on that, sir. Let me see if I can help unwrap this just a little bit. Where is MEA incorporated?
New York.
And where is AUA incorporated?
Antigua.
And does MEA have any other subsidiaries other than AUA?
MEA has no other subsidiaries but AUA. AUA has our campus, on-campus housing is a subsidiary, and our undergraduate program, American International College of Arts and Sciences, is a subsidiary of AUA.
Right. And how much of your tuition did you generate in Florida last year?
That is, I couldn't tell you that. Last year, if you don't count,
I'm looking at the trailing numbers from.
I guess in terms of the only revenue that we developed from the only tuition that we generate from Florida, other than through the Florida International University program, is the students that go to clinical rotations in Florida. Last year, there were none. In the years past, there have been 2, there have been 3. One of our affiliates is Larkin. I can't remember whether it's University Hospital or Larkin Hospital. And we tend not to send students there because it's very crowded and it doesn't satisfy our academic criteria when it is crowded. So we're always monitoring it to see if there are opportunities. The only time we send students there, if we aren't satisfied with it, is when students demand to go there. So otherwise, our revenue from the non-HUCAM students in Florida is usually very small.
Right. So that number I'm showing being 11 for academic year 22-23.
I'm not sure I understand what 11 means. Do you mean $11?
I'm sorry. I'm looking at an enrollment of 11 for academic year 22 and 23.
Yeah, that's probably right. 22, okay. 23 would be sure.
So to summarize this, I appreciate the thoroughness and the grasp of these complexities that you have, and I'm thankful that you helped us understand that. I think the disparity between your fluency with that and ours is you have an entity that is incorporated in New York, who is the parent company for a wholly owned subsidiary that does business in Antigua, yet that is licensed in the state of Florida, but generates almost no revenue out of the state of Florida and is showing a nearly $8 million loss in net income. Can you see how from 1,000 miles away that might throw up some red flags to this commission?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I wasn't concerned. It isn't the red flags that would certainly raise, but red flags raise questions. It's that we don't seem to be able to accommodate the answers. So we're left to this forum to do that. In years past, when you got to understand, we've been doing this now for 11 years. So the CIE should be fairly familiar with what we are, what we're about, this is the first year we've had this loss, but it's also the first year we had a one-time payout that generated that loss. To be perfectly clear, this loss also is a function of the MEA's parent in India has an arrangement with us where we send 25% of our gross revenue to India. Should we reach any difficulty with finance and ability to support ourselves, which we clearly don't have, I think we had a $9 or $11 million cash flow by the end of the fiscal year. We just wouldn't pay 25%. We'd pay a lesser number. But
right. Did I hear you say the MEA has a parent company in India?
Right. My problem is not that there are red flags, but that we don't seem to be able to clear these red flags. And every year, this year we have these contingencies. In past years, we've had other contingencies, and we keep submitting the same documents that we submit every year, and they are voluminous. And every year, whoever the staff member is has different questions about the same reports that we issue. And in past years, we're always able to clear them up by discussion one way or the other. But this year, we have not been able to clear them up.
Sure. So you understand how the expectation of separation between your parent entity and this entity was, and the loss of nearly $8 million are tied together, because we're not aware of other subsidiaries that MEA may hold. Now I am, because we're having this discussion, right? That you don't have additional subsidiaries in addition to AUA beneath your MEA parent company. So we're unaware of that. So if I'm looking at a portfolio of options and you have other subsidiaries, 9 of which did not lose $8 million, and the 10th being this one that did, our concern would be the appetite for you to continue those operations within that loss, right? So that's what really those two are tied together, and why there's that confusion. I think only just now I'm understanding that now you have a parent company in India, which isn't indicated in the paperwork there. So we can add to that complexity of our understanding at a distance, the parent company in India, an entity registered in New York, an operations in Antigua, a license in Florida, and an $8 million loss. So I understand your frustration for trying to navigate it. I'm just trying to get you to see that all we have to go on is the paperwork that you submit, and we don't have the fluency and understanding that you have with it. And I'm working to try to get there with you now. But Director, do you have thoughts on a refinement of that contingency for the purposes of recognizing a one-time payment within an affiliate or parent company, right, that would not be made?
So the rule itself, the rule itself states that the financial statement shall demonstrate that the current assets of the institution exceed the current liabilities. So we are looking for the institutional level. So if we do not receive institutional level audits, then we're looking at your parent financial, and then we're working on our financial improvement plan from your parent level. So that's why we're asking for the institutional level itself is what we actually need. And then if you need additional help from your parent corporation, then we'll assess the parent corporation as well. And in speaking very quickly to your others, just so we can move to our next section, your submission of an updated faculty listing form to include your current license. Right now, you have submitted a form to us. It has about 7 faculty members who have their credentials have expired as of January 2024. So we're asking for an updated, either the form or the current license information for those faculty members teaching Florida students who now have expired licenses. So that's why that first contingency is there. The second contingency we've now discussed about the financial audits. And then the third contingency goes with the second contingency. The final order to Provide renewal documentation is not a contingency. It is in order to provide the documentation. If you have already provided that documentation and it has not yet been assessed by staff, it will during the process after we submit the clerked order.
Okay. So we did submit for this year a separate AUA financial, but as I said before, going forward, a separate financial for AUA doesn't tell you what you need to know. The financial that we submitted, the MEA AUA consolidated financial statement, shows all of MEA's affiliates and subsidiaries, of which there is only one, AUA. That is if I'm not mistaken, that should be reflected in the financial statement. Now, we can have our auditors prepare standalone financials if that's what the CIE this year has requested. It isn't what they've requested in the 10 years that preceded this year.
So my recommendation at this point would be to leave the recommendations or the contingencies as stated. You're welcome to submit the financials that we're discussing to our office. You can send them to your program specialist. You can also copy me on them. We'll be happy to look at them under the light of the contingencies itself to see if those satisfy this contingency.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think the AUA entity is not acting as a pass-through. Is that correct, sir? It's actually filing its own return. It's not a pass-through entity direct to MEA.
No, it isn't a pass-through because it's not a taxable event, a taxable institution. If you're talking tax-wise, MEA is the taxed institution, not MEA. I'm sorry, not AUA is an Antiguan company that operates in Antigua. They have a contract with MEA.
Yes, sir. And it's helpful to know that there are no additional subsidiaries there so that one is tied to the other.
No, business aspects of the AUA are provided by MEA, and that's all MEA does.
It's a shared services model, right? Not the matriculation and training itself. I understand.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Well, I think this is going to generate healthy discussions going forward, and I appreciate you being the guinea pig on our attempts to understand institutions that are operating internationally and how the licensure is affecting students here and beyond. And I think that's going to be an ongoing discussion, not just with AUA or MEA, but with others as well. So, Commissioners, additional discussion? Is there any, let's see, I'm going to have to go back because, well, let me ask you this. Were there other representatives from the schools 1 through 13, removing 11? Any other schools who would like to speak or public comment on that matter? Because we are taking this by consent, correct, Director?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
And there is no one else on the line.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Oh, there was no other public comment on the line.
Okay. Then hearing no other discussion, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendation for items 1 through 10, 12, and 13?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries to accept staff recommendations. Now we can address number 11, Universal Technical Institute, South Florida, Miramar, number 9036. Commissioner Taylor Ellis will abstain from the vote, but can engage in a vigorous discussion.
Where did Commissioner Marketing go? Is she still there?
No. Yeah, I just kind of wanted you to. Yeah. Uniform. Yeah.
Commissioner Taylor Ellis, I'm looking.
Yeah.
Are you calendar year fiscal?
We're fiscal. October through we're October through September. We're fiscal year.
Okay.
And Miramar is you may remember is one of 16 campuses,
Right.
a part of a larger organization.
Right. And were we able to isolate Miramar within our submissions similar to the conversation we just had? From a performance standpoint?
Not familiar. Let's pull it up right now and see.
I mean, they look consolidated, but that doesn't mean we don't have the others. Let me see.
Morning, this is Bob Burnfield, Campus President with UTI Miramar.
Hello, Mr. Burnfield.
Hello.
Feels
Ready for this
here today.
vigorous
How are you, sir?
conversation.
It's made more difficult doing virtually like this, and I appreciate everyone's patience with it. What is it? 80% of communication is nonverbal, so it's a little more challenging here. But I do feel like I need a compass and perhaps a sextant to navigate some of this. President Burnfield, do you have something that you might want to add about the individual performance at your location there relative to the entirety of the organization?
Absolutely, thank you. We are going to be responding to the clerk order with the separated financials. Generally, in the past, I guess we've provided consolidated, but I can understand the commission's need to see the individual campus, so we'll be providing that information.
Outstanding.
Yeah, everything in here it's consolidated.
It is. It is
Yeah,
indeed.
it is.
Yeah, I think we're going to have consistency across the board with that, especially those with such a large portfolio where decisions could be made among top and bottom performers to cut bait, as it were. So I think it's great that we're going to be able to see those from you and from other institutions who have a portfolio of locations and/or complicated corporate structure.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. Commissioners, any additional discussion? Any public comment? Then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for item number 11, UTI South Florida, Miramar number is 9036.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioners Cross and Whitaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you being here.
My pleasure.
Executive Director, how do you feel about a 10-minute break or so before we move on to item F?
A 10-minute break would be great.
All right. So we will be back. I've got us at 11:09. Let's make it quick and get back at 11:20 since we are probably not even halfway through the day.
Commissioner Williams, we are now live again, and I'll turn it over to you.
All right, thank you for that break. We are back, and on item number F, application for license by means of accreditation. Of note, let's see. Commissioner Taylor Ellis says affiliated schools in this section need to abstain from voting.
Exactly.
I'm sorry?
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Yep. It looks like we just have one. Is that right, Director? Am I seeing that correctly?
That is correct.
Okay. So number one, Concord Career Institute, Jacksonville, number 87. Staff recommendations have been provided. If you're here from the institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Hello there, Commissioners. It's John Carrion. I'm the General Counsel and Chief Compliance Officer for Concord.
Counselor, thanks for being here today. How are you?
Doing great, sir. How about yourself?
Never better. Commissioners, any discussion? All right. Any public comment on this matter?
None whatsoever, sir.
Well, congratulations on what looks like 900 students currently enrolled. If there's no public comment, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioners Cross and Whitaker. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to accept staff recommendations carries for Concord Career Institute, Jacksonville, number 87. I am jealous of that low number. That is awesome. That means it's been around.
Been around for a long time.
Yeah, my lowest number is 1300 in the 1300s, so not bad.
You can see some of ours down below our Orlando campus is 4,000. So we have low and high.
Yeah, no, that's pretty awesome. But thank you for being here today, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you all very much, Commissioners.
Item number G, I shouldn't say number G. Item G is annual review of license by means of accreditation. In G, once again, we will have a note of extension for Commissioner Taylor Ellis with affiliated schools in this section. And is there a motion to consider these applications by consent?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioners Whitaker and Cross. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion to consider these applications by consent passes. Let me make sure I get the right one that we are going to pull for. Okay, now I'll ask each commissioner if you have items you want to pull. Commissioner Cross, do you have any you'd like to pull?
Please come back to me, Chair.
Nope, pressure's on. You got to do it right now. I'm just kidding. Commissioner Taylor Ellis.
None. Thank you.
Commissioner Whitaker. Commissioner Marty.
No, not at this point.
Director.
Yes, I would like to pull numbers 2, 3, and 4 due to their affiliation with Commissioner Taylor Ellis, and I would also like to pull number 11.
Okay. Then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendation for items 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that is it.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioners Whitaker and Taylor Ellis. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries to accept staff recommendations for those items listed. Let's begin with item number 2 to go in order. Concord Career Institute, Tampa, number 333. If you're here from that institute, please raise your hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
I
Hello,
believe
Commissioners.
2, 3, and 4
It's
were
John
pulled.
Carrion again, General Counsel and Chief Compliance Officer for Concord.
Yep, thank you for being here again. I think you are correct. That would be 2, 3, and 4. Director, can we take these all together? Or Counselor, Mr. Junta, do we need to take these individually?
They were pulled so that, because I'm abstaining.
Yeah.
Right.
I see
wondering
no
if
issue with you
individual
taking
motions
them
for each,
three
or can
together.
we do all 3 at the same time?
I see no issue with you taking them simultaneously.
Okay. Then for all commissioners other than Commissioner Taylor Ellis, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendation for items number 2, 3, and 4?
Move.
Moved and seconded by Commissioners Whitaker and Marty. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries to accept staff recommendation for items 2, 3, and 4. Now we can move on to number 11, which is Sabre College. I believe that brings you back into the fold, Sharon, if I'm correct.
Yes, that does.
Yeah.
All right. Good. We missed you for a second there.
And we have one individual on the line for Sabre.
All right. Could you please raise your hand, unmute, and introduce yourself?
Hi, this is Mark Murray, legal counsel for Sabre College, and I believe that the owner and somebody else from the institution is also at least probably trying to get on the line.
Thank you for that, Counselor. We appreciate you being here. I believe this item was pulled by the director for modification on contingencies. Director, would you like to address that?
Yes, that is correct. So I am recommending the removal of contingency number 1 and number 2 as they have been satisfied by the institution.
Removal of contingency number 1 and number 2. Did I hear that
Yes,
correct?
that is correct. So the last remaining contingency would be number 3.
Okay. Counselor, do you have thoughts or concerns about that?
Nope, we're in agreement, and we've submitted the third one, but I think that's just a matter of staff needs to go through it and make sure that it's in compliance with the contingency.
And Mr. Murray, we did receive that catalog. It does have a couple of discrepancies in it still, so staff will be in touch with the institution.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you for that. Any additional discussion, commissioners? Any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff's modified recommendations with the revised contingencies?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioner Taylor Ellison Whitaker. Excuse me, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries, and I believe that closes out section G for us to move to application for program approvals and modifications. There are 5. Do I have a motion to take these items by consent?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioner Cross and Taylor Ellis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to take these items by consent carries. I'll ask at each commissioner if they have any they'd like to pull. Commissioner Cross, do you have any you want pulled out of this group?
I do not.
Commissioner Taylor Ellis?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Whitaker?
Thank you.
Commissioner Marty?
I believe we're on H. Number 5.
I believe the director would also like to pull number 5. So, Director, do you have any additional beyond number 5?
I do not have any additional.
Okay, then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendation for section H items 1 through 4?
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioner Marty and Taylor Ellis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Let's move to number 5, South College Orlando, I believe. Yes. South College Orlando Learning Site Orlando, number 9051. If you hear from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Hi, this is James McCoy. I'm campus president of South College Orlando.
President McCoy, thanks for being here. How are you today?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
I'm fantastic. We appreciate your presence here today. Director, I'll let you have the floor.
Yes, you'll see in front of you that there are 2 recommended contingencies from staff. Though both of those contingencies have been satisfied, so we're recommending removal of both contingencies.
So does that mean staff recommendation without contingencies?
That is correct.
Awesome. President McCoy, do you have thoughts, questions, or concerns on that?
No, thank you. We appreciate that.
Thanks for getting everything in and completing those requirements on time. All right. If that is the case, any further discussion, commissioners? Any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff revised recommendation without contingencies for South College Orlando Learning Site number 9051?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioner Whitaker and Taylor Ellis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. President McCoy, thanks for being here. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, and thank the commission for all you do.
The next item within I, scrolling on the wrong pad here, is motion for extension of license. There are 4 items on the agenda within this section. Do I have a motion to take these items by consent?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to take these items by consent carries. I'll now ask commissioners if you have any out of this section I 1 through 4 you would like to pull. Commissioner Taylor Ellis?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Whitaker?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Marty?
No, thank you.
And Commissioner Cross?
No, sir.
Okay, Director.
Number 3, please.
Number 3 of 4.
Yes.
Florida Academy of Nursing Miramar, number 4622.
Yes, that is correct.
All right. Then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendation for section I, numbers 1, 2, and 4?
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion to approve staff recommendations on section I, numbers 1, 2, and 4 carries. We'll go to number 3, pulled by the director of Florida Academy of Nursing Miramar 4622. If you're here for that institution, please raise your hand, unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and director, you have the floor.
And there is no one on the line. Staff is moving to add a recommendation to this particular institution. It would state to grant the extension of the annual license through May 31st, 2024, upon the following contingency being met. Number 1, submission of a completed application for annual license, including all supporting documentation and fees. The executive director shall extend the annual license when the contingency is timely fulfilled. The contingency must be fulfilled and all required materials received in the commission office within 30 days of the clerk's order.
All right. Since there's no one here from that institution, is there any public comment? Do I have a motion to accept staff recommendation for section I, number 3, as noted?
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is J, motion for request for extension of time to comply with contingencies. It looks to be 3 items in section J. Do I have a motion to take these items by consent?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries to take these items by consent. Commissioner Taylor Ellis, are there any of those 3 you would like to pull?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Marty?
No. Thank you.
Commissioner Whitaker?
No, sir.
Commissioner Cross?
No, thank you.
Director?
No.
All right. There's no representatives. Are there representatives online for these, Director?
There are no representatives online.
Okay. Then any public comment on that matter? Those matters?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. There's appears to be 1 person online.
Hi, this is
please
Brittany Culver
unmute
from
and-
Meridian West Central College. Oh, hello?
I'm sorry.
Kyle Weber is present for ATA Career Education and ATA College.
ATA. All right. Thank you for being here today, guys. Do you have questions, concerns, or comments about staff recommendations? We were about to move to accept them.
No, thank you. Just identify myself.
Well, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for having everything submitted. Any public comment beyond those representatives? Then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendation for section J, numbers 1, 2, and 3?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you guys for being here today. All right. Wish me luck on section K for substantive change approval. We do have some nuances here. There are 12 items in this section. Important to note, Commissioner Marty will abstain. I believe number 5. So do I have a motion to take these items by consent?
Commissioner Williams.
Yep.
1 additional note, number 7 has requested the removal of their institution from the March agenda and has waived their 90-day rights. Therefore, number 7 will not be considered.
Understood. So then do I have a motion to take 1 through 12 by consent, noting that number 7 has been removed?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion to accept them by consent carries. I know we have a few we're going to pull from the director. I'll get to you last. Let's see if the commissioners have any first. Commissioner Marty, do you have any you'd like to pull? I think you're on mute.
One, 2, 6, 8, and 12.
Wow. All right. I'm glad I asked. 1, 2, 6, 8, 12. Okay. Commissioner Whitaker?
No additional.
Commissioner Taylor Ellis?
No additional.
Commissioner Cross?
No additional.
All right, Director, if I'm not mistaken, you also had 1, 2, 6, 8, and 12. So you and Commissioner Marty are aligned in that. Do you have any additional from those 5?
I do. I would also like to pull number 5, Doral College, as it is affiliated with Commissioner Marty.
Oh, you're right. I noted it at the outset and didn't remove it in the consent motion. All right. So we've got 3, 4, 7, 9, 10, and 11 that
Except
we can make
for
a
number
motion for.
7.
I'm sorry. 7 is out.
Yeah, 7 is out.
So 3, 4, 9, 10, and 11 remain. Told you guys to wish me luck on this. Okay, then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendation for items 3, 4, 9, 10, 11 within section K?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. We'll begin with the items that were pulled, starting with number 1, Care Hope College Jupiter, number 2076. Commissioner Marty and Director, I think you both had
Hi,
these
good
pulled.
morning. Can you hear me? This is Dr. Hope Doyles from Care Hope College, Jupiter.
Hello, Doctor.
And
Thank
with
you for
me,
being
I
here
have
today. We
Dr.
appreciate you.
Benito, Laura Benito, our Chief Academic Officer, and our Executive Campus Director, Babette Mullins.
Thank
And
you all
also
for being here.
Mark
We
Murray,
appreciate
Legal
you.
Counsel for Care Hope College.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate your time today. Director, I'll let you go first. I believe we have this pulled for probationary concerns.
We do. So we have this one. We are moving to place the institution into a provisional license and find that a substantive change has occurred due to the institution's practical nurse and professional nursing programs on probation by the Florida Board of Nursing.
Commissioner Marty, do you have additional thoughts? You asked for this one as well.
No, really, the passing rate is the big concern.
Right. Okay. Director, your request for substantive change is noted in the contingencies.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Then for the representatives of Care Hope here, do you have questions, concerns, or comments about that recommendation?
No, I don't. I know we're working diligently in improving our pass rates, and we have shown over last year, while we did not make 80% or higher, we came very close to 70%, and we feel very confident that we will be able to turn this around this year, and we appreciate the opportunity to do so.
Have you guys been making internal changes in order to reverse that trend?
Absolutely. Lots of internal changes. Dr. Benito is here. Do you want to comment on that, Dr.
Hi,
Benito?
good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Benito, Chief Academic Officer. We hired a consultant for programmatic review in February of 2023. We have updated the curriculum so that we map the external standards with the clinical judgment for the NCLEX blueprint. And we're structuring our courses so that we emphasize active learning, clinical reasoning, and clinical judgment. We have seen improvement. The revised curriculum requires the students to complete EAQs and other assignments that are in line with the NCLEX, and we have actually seen our benchmarks have shown that we have exceeded over the 50%, and the updated remediation plan that we have in place, it demonstrates that we are on an upward trend. We feel confident that this trend is going to continue positively.
And just to bring the board up to date, our first quarter that we've been tracking to date, for example, our practical nursing program, we had 8 students that tested and all 8 have passed. So we have 100% at this point. And we're very pleased with the improvements that have been demonstrated to date. Thank you.
Congrats on 8 for 8. Great job to hear that. Director, do you have anything additional?
Just one question related to that. You said that you were tracking for the quarter one for the 100% internally. What program was that for? Was that your practical nursing or your AS?
That was our practical nursing that I gave as an example.
Do you have your quarter one projections for AS?
For AS, our quarter one that we're tracking, we're at 80% at this point. We did have 2 people that failed in our AS in this quarter. So we're at 80%.
Thank you.
All right. If there's no further discussion, well, is there public comment on this matter? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for item 1, Care Hope College, number 2076?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will move to number, thank you for being here, guys. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
We will move to number 2, Chancellor Institute, Fort Lauderdale, number 4991. If you are here from that institution, please raise your hand, unmute, and introduce yourself. Is no one here, Director, for that?
They are on the phone.
Okay. Dr. Tamisio Scott, owner, president. Good morning, everyone. Commission.
Hello, Dr. Scott. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you all doing?
We are fantastic. Thank you for being here today.
You're welcome.
Dr. Scott, if you could give us just one moment while we review some of the information we've had here.
Okay, no problem.
Dr. Scott, can you give us an update, because our information trails, on how you closed out last year and where you are for the first quarter of 2024?
Okay, so I am currently reviewing the profit and loss statement. Looking at in regards to the net operating income, is showing some positivity of $47,458.50, and then net income of $48,999.84. 23-24 school year will be our actual first full school year of receiving federal financial aid. For 22-23, we did not start receiving federal financial aid until February, March of last year. Our school enrollment has definitely improved. We have currently about 111 active students. Majority of them are in our practical nursing program that are doing pretty well. And right now, as of, so we're at the end of, we're not at the end, but we're in the middle of March of the end of the first quarter. And I actually I have not received a profit and loss statement from my CPA that actually performs our monthly reconciliations. So they'll probably pretty much have the January, February monthly reconciliations completed, I would probably say within the next week or so. But we're looking forward to be positive because we increased enrollment. I do a great deal of micromanaging my students. Our PN rates came in pretty good for the end of 2023 with 100% NCLEX passing scores. Last year for 2023, we had our AD and RN program added to our institutional accreditation, where we actually, back in October, we started enrolling AD and RN students. In addition to, we opened our phlebotomy technician program back up because we added that to the institutional accreditation as well. So we actually appears to be financially moving in a very positive direction. In 2022, I took out an SBA loan because of the fact of adding on the additional programs just for expansion and renovations, hiring of staff and faculty. And we'll start the repayment period of that in May next month this year. So yeah, that's currently where we're at now.
Well, I don't envy you engaging and navigating the SBA process. I have done that once in my life, and it was the first and the last time that I prefer to do that. Very
I agree
arduous.
with you wholeheartedly. I have 3 CPAs that I work with, and Mr. Dave that actually performs our auditing, he actually said, well, it's a great thing to do, especially with expansion, but at the same time, you just want to sit the money aside, only when you're trying to do things to grow your institution or your organizations. But all in all, we're seeing positive growth. It definitely threw me by surprise because for I think 11, 12 years, it was a cash pay school. And I felt like it was better then than it was now because of the fact I'm starting to, I'm learning all of the FSA regulations, rules, and then many regulations changed last year, also for this year when it comes to financials and audits with FSA. So it's definitely gotten a lot tougher, especially for the smaller institutions.
Well, thank you for that update. We appreciate you being here today. I know you understand our concern, and it's good to hear an update of your positive momentum. Commissioners, any additional discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept staff recommendations for Chancellor Institute for Lauderdale number 4991?
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for being here today, ma'am, and good luck as you progress through 2024.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You guys have a great afternoon.
You as well. We will move on to number 5, I think pulled only because of Commissioner Marty's abstention, if I got that correct. So
that is correct.
Doral College, row number 4362. Commissioners, any discussion? Any public comment?
There is one individual on the line.
Hello, this is Christy Bordelon, the Director of Institutional Effectiveness for Doral College.
Thank you for being here. How are you today?
Wonderful. How about y'all?
We're doing great. Do you have, ma'am, do you have questions, concerns, or comments about staff recommendations?
No, none at all.
Okay. Is there a public comment on the matter? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 5, section K, Doral College, number 4362?
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Ma'am, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, and y'all have a great rest of your day.
Thank you very much. I am from Georgia, and that y'all made me feel like home. I really appreciate that. Number 6, East-West College, Natural Medicine, Sarasota, number 2567. If you are here from that institution, please unmute, raise your hand, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Cynthia O'Donnell. I'm the campus director for East-West College Natural Medicine in Sarasota, Florida, and I'm also here with Dr. Yosef Faleki, the chief academic officer and owner of the college.
Thank you both for being here today. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Director, I think we have pulled this for accreditation challenges.
Yes, that is correct. We are recommending a substantive change due to the withdrawal of accreditation by Accrediting Commission of Career Schools and Colleges.
Ma'am,
May I speak to that?
Yes, ma'am. I was about to ask if you have questions, comments, or concerns.
Well, I would like you to put a hold on that if that's possible. We have garnered legal counsel with Peter Layton and a compliance specialist, Christopher Lambert, And after reviewing everything with our institutional accrediting body, ACCSC, our attorney has determined that their actions were arbitrary and capricious. We currently have a appeal in process, and we will be meeting with them on April 11th. They have 1 month to change, which we feel that they will do. We were under probation, and we gave a very extensive report on changes that were made based on their concerns. And our placement rates are within range. We pass all our placement rates, our pass rates for our national exam, our attrition, everything is in good order on that level. And as far as their response to our response, to our probation response, we had no fact findings. They did not respond in any kind of way that let us know, the response to the probation order, it seemed to sweep aside with no findings or fact and no reasonable explanation and no analysis of our college's responses. So we would appreciate it if you would hold your withdrawal until after this process.
So what I'm reading here, ma'am, says creditor withdrawal due to institution's failure to demonstrate that there's adequate management and administrative capacity in place. Is that the reason that they gave you?
Yes, but actually it's pretty extensive here. Look right there. But since then they have hired me, and I actually founded this college, and we are in the process of changing quite a few things, and we told them in the response what we were doing. So the administration has made changes, which we feel will be very beneficial, and we have a positive feeling for the outcome of the appeal, which is April 11th.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Is it your intention to add programs sometime soon, now that you're back?
Well, I think we would very much like to add programs, but first and foremost, we would like to get our accreditation commissions in good standing with us and feel confident that we can do so. And once we do, we would be interested in adding more programs. But first, we want to make sure everything's in place and that they're satisfied and before we move forward.
Agree with you on that. So to that end, then a move to provisional wouldn't really interfere with the operations that you have, since you're not intending to add any programs sometime soon while you're navigating that with the accrediting body. Is that fair to say?
As long as it, as long as our licensing to operate with our college is in good standing in that, status, then is that okay with you, Dr. Flake? Yeah.
No, of course. Mr. Gentry, can you explain any other nuances associated with the move to provisional outside of the inability to add additional programming, just so she can feel better about their ability to move forward?
A movement of an institution to substantive change because a substantive change, a major change in the institution's status has in fact occurred, is not a disciplinary measure. And so it does not count against the institution in any way. Their ability to operate as normal is unhindered. I might suggest, Chair Williams, this commission could delegate to the executive director the authority to place the institution back on annual license status if the institution prevails in its appeal and provides documentation to that effect.
Yeah, I agree to that. Ma'am, do you know when that appeal process may come to fruition?
We should know by May 11th. We have we're having our meeting on April 11th, and they have 1 month to give us a response. So I would say, the second week in May, we should find out.
All right. Well, that'll be a nice Mother's Day present if that is indeed the case. Commissioners,
Thank
any
you so
opposition?
much.
And just to clarify, Chair Williams, the suggestion is that they be returned to annual status, not only if they're successful in their appeal, but if their accreditation status is improved from its current probationary status. Once its accreditation status is improved. I guess that would be it.
Right. So I believe the staff recommendation captures that because it is grant the annual license for procedural purposes. However, I don't think it's noted to delegate the authority to the director to reinstitute upon that appellate process. Do we need to change? I guess what I'm asking is, do we need to change the staff recommendation or not?
You don't need to, but you may. If you wish to delegate to the executive director the authority to restore them to annual license status upon prevailing in their appeal and the removal, their improvement of their accreditation status from probation.
Director, would you like to put a timeline on that? Let's say 180 days. I know May is coming up sooner than that, but it would give you the latitude within that period to grant that, just in case they are delayed in some way.
So when you grant authority to the executive director to push them back or to allow them to return to annual status, you do not have to put a date on there. So the contingencies will be still required to be completed within 30 days of the clerked order, but this would be a separate section. It would tag on to the bottom of this, which orders the institutions to submit correspondence to us, and then it would give authority to the executive director to return them to annual status upon the completion of their appeal and removal from probation.
May I just say something? If they remove us from appeal and they put us on probation, they may want to have another site visit. And so I'm not sure how long that will take. You know, if they answer on May 11th, I don't know when they're going to schedule the site visit and what the time period of that would be.
Yeah, delegating that authority to the director wouldn't require you to feel that urgency. It would just give her the authority to reinstate you once that site visit had been completed. Is that right, Director?
That is correct.
So under provisional licensing, if that's what you're putting us on as provisional license, then we would still complete our annual reports and act as if we're still acting as we are licensed, correct?
Of course. You are still licensed. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, it doesn't interfere with your ability to operate at all. I think if I'm saying this correctly, correct me, Counselor, if I'm wrong, but it really it limits your ability to expand programming and significantly change the program until whatever caused you to be moved to provisional is rectified. And it sounds like you already have that in motion. So you guys can rock and roll.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
That's correct.
Yeah.
An institution.
Say something too. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, an institution that is provisionally licensed is still a licensed institution. It just cannot make any major changes to its offerings and to its operations while it is on provisional license.
Thank you so much. And we do really appreciate the way you conduct your meetings and your positive demeanor with the colleges. We do appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Did you hear that, Counselor? She's talking about what a positive demeanor you have, Mr. Junta.
I didn't know that I was specifically being addressed. I appreciate that.
You are a positive guy. Thank you, man. We really appreciate it. Look, I think if I have a recommendation for you as you navigate that gauntlet right on the other side of your appellate process is please over-communicate, proactively communicate, and stay in touch. It'd be wonderful to be aligned with you on that so that the director can anticipate those results, not be waiting for them, without any knowledge of when she might get them. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course. We can respond, after our meeting on April 11th. We can send an update letter to our liaison.
Okay, outstanding. And where are you guys in Sarasota?
Where are we in Sarasota? On North Sarasota, on North Tamiami Trail. Just almost to Bradenton is where we're located.
Right, just north of the airport?
Just south of the airport.
South of it? Okay. Yeah, I drive past you guys every day. I thought that was the right name. Okay.
Oh.
All right. Well, listen, good luck with your appellate process. Then I think, is there any public comment? Then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations with the delegation of authority to the director as previously noted.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Go get them, young lady. I hope that goes well.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
All right, we are not on number 7, we are on number 8, Learning Alliance Corporation, Tampa, number 5422. Staff recommendation been provided. If you're here from that institution, please raise your digital hand, unmute, and introduce yourself.
Yes, good morning, commissioners. This is Cesar Ruiz, the president and CEO of Learning Alliance Corporation.
Hello, commissioners. This is Fred Arnold, executive director for Learning Alliance Corporation.
Thank you both for being here today. How are you doing?
We are well. Really glad to be here and hopefully have some engaging conversations. So we're grateful for the opportunity.
Good. My first big question for you is because I'm showing trailing 2022 numbers. I'd love to hear about 2023 and the first quarter of 2024. If you can give us the roundabout on that.
Absolutely. Well, we ended 2023 on a really strong year. On our P&L, we were at $1.8 million in net profit, which was phenomenal. Great turnaround from 22 to 23. And for the first quarter so far, year to date, we are at $2.9 million. So we are on a significant track to really move forward, sitting on $313,000 of freestanding cash flow and just continuing our growth.
Well, congratulations. I got to ask what you did because that's a pretty significant reversal of 2022.
Well, we also made some significant changes internally. So to the commission, we've had to change our staff significantly. We got a new head of finance. Obviously, with the growth in 5G telecommunications, overhead, underground, wireless infrastructure, fixed assets, we've made significant increases in our facility. So adding our facility, adding more staff, adding more classrooms, and really just keeping our cost of goods sold significantly flat. So we've been able to significantly increase revenues while not really increasing very much in operating expenses.
That's the trick, right?
Yes, sir. It sure is. Commissioner, if I may ask, I have a question because of the request from staff to go to provisional. And we have submitted a change because in telecom, change has been very, very significant over the last couple of years. And with the infrastructure bill going into the Office of Broadband and the increase of positions and opportunities for employment, we submitted for some changes back in December of 2022 that have not been reviewed and identified. And there's only one concern that I have in this discussion, and that is going to provisional without those changes would really be critically detrimental to our organization. And that's the only concern that I really want to bring to the attention, because by the time we submit here in the next couple of months for 2023, obviously we're going to be able to meet and exceed the financial expectations, but the concern of going to provisional without those modifications to our curriculum and our ability to serve the telecommunication industry and the 5G infrastructure build out would really be detrimental. And I'm hoping we can address that.
I appreciate the way you worded that. I think I've said before that the last thing, I think I can speak for the other commissioners when I say this, the last thing we want is to stand in the way of the thing that we're meant to facilitate. And none of us wants to stand in the way of the kind of evolution and adaptation that's required to dig yourself out of a hole. It sounds like you guys have made some changes that will facilitate that. Director, my summary sheet isn't opening on this particular item, and so I'm unable to see the staff recommendation for some reason. But was the recommendation to move to provisional?
Yes, so under the current recommendation, we would be granting the annual license for procedural purposes and moving them to a substantive change through July 31st of 2024 because they're a little bit behind on their renewals. So when they submit the new application and then they are heard again after or around that July timeframe, then they would, if their financials have increased and they're no longer showing the negative working capital and a negative net income, they can be placed back into annual status, and then we can proceed with any other modifications that the institution requests.
All right, so then I think it might be prudent to discuss two options. I think one, before we lay into that, sir, are your program modifications something that you're trying to implement currently, or is that post-July implementation?
We would like to do it as quickly as possible. A lot of the changes to the curricula that are adaptive to the way that the build-outs of infrastructure will be over the upcoming years. Time has been of the essence, and since we've been waiting since December of 2022, we are already feeling the crunch or the pain of the inability of having to make those modifications. So that is, obviously a prime concern. Also, Commissioner, another big piece is we switched from GAP to GAGAS because we're going to be focusing on accreditation. And the impact to our financials were primarily because in our balance sheet, it was recommended to take about a $1.1 million write-off in order to meet the Yellow Book standards. So when you really look at what was the significant impact in our financials was just the changing of GAP to GAGAS. I will be quite frank, I was not aware that it was going to be that substantial, but it really did create a little bit of pain on the back end.
Yeah, I'm looking at that consolidated statement of cash flows. It is the number that you said it is. Yeah, both the joy and pain of accounting principles. I
would agree.
Yeah, so
GAGAS is a different beast.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and I understand why, but there's only one way to do it, right? You just have to rip that Band-Aid off and do it, and
correct,
and progress from there. So you don't really get to implement it over time in a way that doesn't make a stark contrast. So, Director, I feel like maybe the financial soundness is something that could be a contingency. We've closed out 2023. Sir, have you filed your 2023 taxes yet?
For 23, we have not. We are currently going through the GAGAS audit through our auditing firm. That should be done here in the next couple of weeks. We're hoping that maybe by this time in April that it'll be completed. And at that moment, we've got our application good and ready so that we can submit everything in. But right now, we're just waiting on the accounting firm to give us the final audited financials for 23, which at that moment, we will also then file for taxes.
Okay. So, Commissioners, here's my plan. Tell me if you like it, and I'm very open to your ideas on it. I'd like to not make the move to provisional, but put a contingency in the delegate authority to director to verify that financial soundness. And so it sounds like you're going to have all of those put together within the next few weeks. We could say 90 days or so. That way we're not kicking the can all the way out to July and you're forced to wait until August to make program modifications.
Yes, sir.
But we got to have those financials, right, submitted. Even if you haven't filed that tax return, you can submit 2023. It's very easy to review those and see how that transition affected the perception of liquidity. And the director can make that assessment to meet that contingency so that you can evolve, because I know you're in an evolving industry. Is that fair?
Copy that, Commissioner. That would be wonderful.
Commissioners, what do you think?
I agree. Sounds good.
Supportive.
Okay.
I support.
Okay.
And may I make?
Director, I think that puts a 90-day timeline on it where, just to be clear, if we don't get those in 90 days, then you would get moved to provisional. It's just kind of a pause. Mr. Junta, maybe, does this make sense at all, where we have a 90-day period to meet that financial soundness requirement? Otherwise, they go to provisional?
So what you could do, as I'm listening to this discussion, first of all, the 2023 financials will need to be audited in accordance with GAAP. So I think I heard something a little differently there. They will need to be GAAP. But if you are not wanting to move to provisional because of his current financials, you could grant the annual license with the contingencies that are currently listed, which is the submission of a completed Form 604 and submission of their explanation of their financial improvement plan. And then we could ask for submittal of the financials ending December 31st, 2023, and then give the grant authority to the executive director to review the financials for sufficient resources.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it sounds like you guys closed out the year. This is a timing issue where you did make the necessary changes. You do have that soundness, but because the numbers are trailing, it becomes a downward spiral if you move to provisional, because you can't continue to make the changes you need. If we change the contingencies that way, do you guys have questions, comments, or concerns about it?
I do not, Commissioner. I think that is a great resolution to assisting our organization achieve the goals that we've already set out.
And 90 days is enough, right? We're going to have all those in hand so it can be assessed and we don't have to sweat it again and be concerned about whether you should have been moved or not.
That is correct.
And Commissioner Williams, since they are expected and ordered to provide sufficient application for renewal of their license prior to 120 days prior to July 31st of 2024, we can also reassess them when that application is turned in. They'll be heard before the commission again. If they are still at a negative working capital and negative net income at that time, we can move them to provisional.
Agreed. Right. But by then we should have all this sorted out. So.
That is correct.
All right. Don't let us down.
We will not. We appreciate the flexibility.
All right. Then do I have a motion?
Commissioner Cross, would you like me to read those contingencies?
That'd be glorious.
Thank you. 1 second.
Commissioner, if I may ask one question. When it comes to the modifications that we submitted back in 2022, with this extension of time, how would you guys recommend that we tackle those recommendations, since, again, they are rather critical and we're about 15 months in the rear from that submittal? What would be your recommendation for us as an institution?
Director, can that implementation of those changes begin at the point of the contingency being met?
So no. So they would still be on annual status. And I believe as we were looking through their file quickly, one of the concerns that we did have about the modifications to their program, which was submitted, was due to the financials. So did I hear someone say something?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so that was one of the concerns related to the modifications anyway, and that's what put the pause on it was their actual financials. So if you can communicate with staff, your program specialist, that you would like to move forward with your program modifications, we would appreciate
it. So just to make sure that I understand correctly, it was the financials that created the pause on the changes. However, because of this move, we're going to ask the staff member to please review without the concern of the financials, so that the institution can be recognized for the changes that were submitted, correct?
If you will just reach out to your program specialist and let them know that you would like to move forward with your program modifications as you're on annual status, then staff will review that application and ensure that there is no additional elements needed from you related that are outside of our financials as well. And then that can be moved on to the next available meeting when they're ready.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'll go ahead and read the full contingencies and the
Yes,
recommendation.
ma'am. Please.
Okay, sorry. I got to get ready for this one. It's a little long. So, grant the annual license, which shall remain active and valid through July 31st, 2024, upon the following contingencies being met. Number 1, submission of a completed Form 604, selected financial data to accompany the financial statement presented to the Commission pursuant to Rule 6E-2.004, 6D, Florida Administrative Code. Number 2, submission of an explanation of the financial condition of the institution for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2022, including a financial improvement plan or teach-out plan or form of surety guaranteeing that the resources are sufficient to protect the current students pursuant to Rule 6E-2.004, 6B1, Florida Administrative Code. Number 3, submission of a financial review or audit for the institution in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles prepared by an independent CPA for the most recent fiscal period. A, if the financial statement reflects a negative working capital or a net loss, then an explanation of financial condition must also be submitted. This explanation should include a financial improvement plan or teach-out plan or form of surety guaranteeing that the resources are sufficient to protect the current students pursuant to Rule 6E-2.004, 6B1, Florida Administrative Code. All contingencies must be fulfilled and all required materials received in the Commission office within 30 days of the clerk's order. Order the institution to make timely and sufficient application for renewal of the license by submitting a complete application, materials, and fees, or an extension thereof no later than 100 days prior to July 31st, 2024. A progress report shall be filed with the Commission for the July 2024 and November 2024 Commission meetings. The report shall include updated financial statements to show the effectiveness of the plan per Rule 6E-2.004, 6 Florida Administrative Code.
All right, that's easy for you to say. Then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations as noted?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Please be proactive about communication on those. Let's try to bring all of this home at the same time, okay?
Understood. Thank you, commissioners. We appreciate your time, effort, and flexibility. Highly appreciated.
Have a good day. Next on the list, number 12, I believe, Utica University, St. Petersburg, number 4919. If you are here from that institution, please raise your hand and unmute and introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, commissioners. This is Dr. Polly Smith. I'm the Senior Vice President at Utica University. I hope you're all well this afternoon. I'm joined by our CFO, Pam Salmon, and we're happy to answer any of your questions this afternoon.
Thank you both for being here. We really appreciate it. I think you guys are a large institution, and we've been having discussions all day long about the relativity, right, of perception on financial statements and how within the scope of an organization the size of yours, it can be deceiving. So can you tell us a little how last year ended, where you are on this year, just to put that working capital reduction in context?
Go ahead, Pam. So I think maybe the CFO is having a difficult time joining the call. I don't hear her, and we're in different locations, so I apologize for that. So yes, Utica University as a whole has experienced some financial woes in the last year or so. We are currently have a new president and a new provost who began on August 1st. They have taken a look at all the financials of the institution, including all of our extension campuses, and have put us on a trajectory where, in accordance with the direction from our Board of Trustees, where for the next upcoming fiscal year, we will not be running a deficit. So the teams are working very diligently on budgets and such to make sure that that is the case. In terms of the St. Petersburg campus, we have done our due diligence there. What has happened there is we've experienced decreasing enrollments, and have been switching marketing partners, and that has gone, well, sometimes it goes well, sometimes it does not. However, we have been exploring partnerships to kind of diversify our revenue there. So it's not just stemming from healthcare programs, but also programs with better revenue margin, with better margins to support and kind of balance the nursing programs. So in addition to this annual review, we had submitted 2 new program proposals, one for a Master's of Healthcare Administration, one for a Master's of Science in Data Science. We are exploring currently a partnership with Upgrad to partner with them to, over the course of the next 3 or 4 enrollments, if those programs, if we can work out something where we can get those programs approved, that they will bring in an additional 100 students starting in the fall with the Masters of Healthcare Administration with 10 students, and then in the spring, another cohorts for both data science and MHA that are increasing in number, so that the total of that partnership would be a consistent 100 students to support the nursing program. In addition to that, we are working with InSpring, which is a company that works with healthcare institutions, and we have many solid partnerships in the St. Pete area because we've been there a while. So Baycare, Kindred, All Children, Tampa General, Johns Hopkins, we have a lot of good relationships in that area. InSpring works with those healthcare institutions and an education institution to bring in to help them find staffing, so nursing, to fill those nursing gaps. And the healthcare institution, InSpring, and the academic institution partner together to train nurses. They believe that they can add an additional 10 students per start. So that would be 30 nursing students a year. In addition to that, we are anticipating our enrollment funnel is filling. We're anticipating being able to bring in 24 students per start beginning with this fall. So we've had our difficulties, but we are committed to the community. We're committed to the healthcare partners we've been working with over the years. And I wish the CFO could get on and give you the details of the finances.
No, I appreciate the thoroughness of that. And I think the importance here is relativity, right, within the scope and scale of your operation. So do you have questions, comments, or concerns about the director and staff recommendations?
So I have a concern in that I'm listening to the goings on of the meeting so far today, that our application for new program applications for data science and the Masters of Healthcare Administration will be held until we are no longer on, I believe we're moving to a provisional status. Those programs won't be able to be reviewed. And if they're not reviewed, then we can't offer them. And that kind of puts a damper on the strategic plan that we've put forward to stabilize and then grow in the St. Pete region.
Yep, understood. That's why I'm asking. Your fiscal ending in May last year, there's a little gap window there, right, where it's tough to see all the wonderful things you guys have been doing that you're outlining for us. But your assets liability ratio at that point still remains strong, especially considering the size of it. Is there, Director, what's the recommendation for, I know that the financial soundness is not as objective when you see it through the lens of size and scale like this, because of net income and working capital reductions look scary, but the size of assets still are robust. So I don't want to stand in the way, just like the last folks, of those who are making positive momentum and changes to lift themselves out of that, and pile on while there are already problems. So I'm open-minded, commissioners, about making a similar recommendation. But with you guys, it's not necessarily showing a better year from a bad year. It's about showing a reversal of a trend. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, because you're not going to be able to show us year end for May until June or July, right? But you don't want to wait that long in the process. But what you can show us
Commissioners, can you hear me now? Commissioners, do you hear me now? This is Pam Salmon.
Hi.
Hi, yes. I don't know what was going on. I tried to unmute myself several times, but yeah, I'd just like to add, you are correct. We will not receive audited financials for fiscal 24. They won't be available until almost the end of September. So we do run into that similar situation along with the other institution. And if I would just like to comment a little bit with respect to fiscal 23, subsequent to that, on an annual basis, we're subject to a review by Fitch Ratings. They completed that review in November, and they did reaffirm, our rating that we have had, and they do that based on a forward-looking approach. So with the increases that we had in our traditional main campus enrollment this particular fall, our high demand programmatic mix that is heavy in health sciences and technology, along with our favorable undergraduate and graduate student ratio, as well as our growing international populations, Fitch did, reaffirm our rating, and they expect that we will have further increases in our recurring revenues, and as we are working toward gliding towards a path to a fully balanced budget.
All right. Yeah, I think also let's add that because these are consolidated financials rolled up, it makes it very difficult to assess the St. Petersburg unit that we're talking about. And within the scope of that, right, your enrollment doubled, right, from 21-22 to from 79 to 146. So because the enrollments are shown for Florida and because your financials are shown for the organization, it makes it hard to say, hey, we have positive momentum in St. Pete. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So this, like so many of the others, I think it's worth the exercise for you guys to separate those out. Of course, we want to see consolidated financials, right? But that information flow would be wonderful to be in both directions, where we could say isolated within the scope of all that is Utica. Here's the positive momentum that's happening at St. Pete, which obviously is the entity, or it may not even be an entity, but right, is the portion of all of your empire that we're licensing here. So it makes it easier to substantiate not going to provisional. So when you make those submissions in the future, if you can parse that out in some way, it certainly is easier for us to wrap our head around it, because you guys got a lot of commas on your balance sheet. And to us, without putting that in context, it makes it difficult to assess.
Understood.
Yeah. So, Director, Commissioners, what would you like to do with this recommendation? I don't want to stand in the way of the programs. They're trying to reverse that trend. And I do feel like they took a hit, but they weren't all in when they took that hit. And I don't know that it destabilized their ability to meet the student needs and keep them focused. Commissioners, do you have thoughts on that? Then, Director, do you have a revised recommendation wherein we might allow them to make their program modifications under the same sort of situation we did to the previous school?
Yes. So is the commission wanting to not place this institution on provisional?
My vote would be not to, but I'd like to hear it from the other commissioners, and then require that momentum update. Because remember, ladies, all we have is May 2023. So if we can show St. Pete, and we can show the things after May 2023 very quickly, which shouldn't be terribly hard to put together, then it can substantiate you guys being left on annual and getting your other programs moving. Director, would you and staff be okay with that request revision?
Yes.
So, Commissioner Williams, were you speaking to me or the other director? Just to clarify.
I'm sorry, I was speaking to you.
Okay. So I can read out the new or the recommended language. So you'll have the current language in front of you, and then I'll read the other language, and then you can choose between them. And just of note for staff, a lot of times the reason when when we're not changing, when they go to provisional status and we're not updating any of their substantive changes, such as their change in location or adding new programs modifications, this is due to a financial concern that the institution can't support the new programs too. So if you're looking at it in light of their financials of how they're doing now, that is one thing that we would like for the commissioners to consider, is if they do believe that the institution itself can support the new programs that they're applying for. So that's one of the major concerns that we have when we, and why we move people or institutions to provisional and do not allow them to make these substantive changes while they're under provisional.
Yeah, no, that's well said. That's exactly what I feel. That's why I was trying to speak to their momentum and not the snapshot, along with the entirety of their finances.
Okay, I will read the new recommendation. So this one's a little long too, so bear with me for just a moment. This will be grant the annual license, which shall remain active and valid through November 30th, 2024, upon the following contingencies being met. Number 1, submission of a sample of the Professional Nursing Student Disclosure, CIE Form 609A, containing all information the institution is required to provide the students. Please verify the information is in regards to 2023. Number 2, submission of an explanation of the financial condition of the institution for the fiscal year ending May 31st, 2023, including a financial improvement plan or teach-out plan or form of surety guaranteeing that the resources are sufficient to protect the current students pursuant to Rule 6E-2.004 6B1 Florida Administrative Code. 3, submission of an updated faculty listing form to include current license information for all instructors. 4, submission of a balance sheet and profit and loss statement for the St. Petersburg campus in order to assess the financial stability of the campus. All contingencies must be fulfilled and all required materials received in the commission office within 30 days of the clerked order. Order the institution to make timely and sufficient application for renewal of the license by submitting a complete application, materials, and fees, or an extension thereof no later than 120 days prior to November 30th, 2024. A progress report shall be filed with the Commission for the July 2024 and November 2024 Commission meetings. The report shall include updated financial statements to show the effectiveness of the plan per Rule 6E-2.004 6 Florida Administrative Code.
Or the representatives from Utica, you understand those? How this
yes, sir.
Gives you the latitude to make those changes?
Yes, sir. And I 100% appreciate the flexibility of the commission on this issue. It will allow us to move forward and to create balance in the St. Petersburg site and to continue doing some good, really great work in St. Pete.
Yes, thank you.
Then commissioners, do I have a motion to accept staff revised recommendations as noted?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The staff recommendation carries. Thank you for being here, ladies. We appreciate your help, and please be proactive in the communication of all of that so that we're all on the same page the next time we get together, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, that brings us to branch campus applications. There are none in section L. And name change, there are none in section M. And agent N is religious colleges. Their sworn affidavits. Why did I have? Oh, that's why. Okay. Is there a motion to take the 66 items by consent?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Commissioner Whitaker, are there any you would like to pull?
I believe just the 3 that staff flagged. It's 13, 13, 26, and 45.
I didn't have 45, so I missed that one. Okay. Commissioner Marty?
The same 3.
Commissioner Taylor Ellis,
No others. Thank you.
Commissioner Cross.
None others.
Director, do you have any in addition to 13, 26, and 45?
I do not, but just for clarification for the record, I'm recommending pulling number 13 and 26 due to the concerns with the inclusion of religious modifiers in the title of the institution or the name of the institution, and pulling number 45 due to concerns with the inclusion of religious modifiers on the program titles.
Understood.
By
Then do
which
I
we
have a
mean,
motion to,
I'm sorry, just to
accept-
clarify, by which we mean the non-inclusion of religious modifiers where they are needed to comply with the exemption statute.
understood, the inclusion or lack thereof. Gotcha. So do I have a motion to accept section N items 1 through 6, excluding number 13, number 26, and number 25?
Number 45.
I'm sorry, 45. Let me repeat that. Do I have a motion to accept items 1 through 66, excluding number 13, 26, and 45?
So moved.
Moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair
Any
Williams,
opposed?
Chair Williams,
Yes.
I'm sorry, before we continue with the vote, it appears that we do have one or more institutions who wish to make comment.
Okay. There are 66 of them, so Director, I can't see who is here and who is not, so I'll ask you to direct them in the order that they appear.
Yes, I will do so. We have one on the line too. Please unmute yourself and introduce which institution that you are representing.
Yeah, Ms. Hurst, this is Bob Harris. Can you hear me?
Hey, Mr. Harris. Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. Just very brief remarks. I just want to thank the commission and the commission staff for the great work you do in reviewing these affidavits of religious institutions. You do phenomenal work, and I need the other institutions, I think, and the public to understand the good work that you all do. So thank you. That's the only comment I have.
Thank you, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Counselor. We appreciate that. I thrive on positive reinforcement, so much appreciated. Anyone else, Director, on the line?
There are no others.
All right. So then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations, items 1 through 66, excluding 13, 26, and 45?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. So let's move to number 13, which is Crown Career College, Venice. If you are here from that institution, please unmute, raise your hand, and introduce yourself.
There is no one on the line.
All right. Director, you have the floor then.
I have no additional information related to the pooling of those institutions, except that we will reach out to the institutions regarding the concerns with the religious modifiers or the non-inclusion of the religious modifiers in either their titles or their institution name or their course titles.
Okay. So we don't, and that is true for all three of them. Is that correct?
Yes, that is.
That no one is on the line, and the way you just described your reason for pulling them applies to all three.
Yes, that is correct. And a vote does not need to occur on those. Those will just be pulled, and staff will reach out.
Okay. And let me look at the other number here. Yeah, agreed on all counts. That is good job, staff and director. Okay, well, then if a vote is not required, we appreciate the work that you guys are doing to rectify the requirement to meet those religious requirements. So does that move us indeed to section O, which is agent training programs, which I believe there are none?
Yes, that is correct.
All right. 10 minutes until 1, not bad. then I believe we are likely, unless director, counselor, or public has other comments, that we will be in recess until tomorrow at 9 a.m. Director, do you have anything further?
I do not. We will see you all tomorrow morning.
Commissioners, anything further?
Thank you,
All
Mr.
right.
Chairman.
Thank
Did great.
you.
Thank you.
Have
Thank
a
you.
good day to all. Enjoy the spring weather. We will see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.